after a long wait. Yes, it's time. Opening night finally is here, and excitement is all around as the Jazz kick off a new season here at Vivint Smart Home Arena against the new-look Thunder of Oklahoma City right here on AT&T Sportsnet. Ball to his right, back to his left. Slips inside, pulls the trigger. About a 10-footer good.
It's his game. He's been doing it a long time, the mid-range.
I'll tell you, a better than maybe expected defense showing up tonight after a little bit of a rough preseason. Paul jumps it, got it. 2 jump shots for Chris Paul in that 14-15 range. Schroeder, back out. Diallo, guarded by Davis. Shot clock at 5. Little shake and bake, no. Chris Paul, deep 3. Forced that shot and hits it.
Wow. Not a great possession by the Thunder, but Chris Paul bails him out.
Wiggles into the middle of the floor, then backs it out. Davis follows.
The second group, the Jazz could switch more.
Little heat check. Paul 2 for 2 from downtown. Two quick hits. Paul always in motion.
Jazz switch again.
Rudy against Chris. Throws it out. 3 balls up. Good.
All of a sudden, in the first quarter, Oklahoma City was not hitting many shots.
Chris Paul up against Bogdanovich. Bodies down, no call. Wide open drive to the rim. Gilgeous-Alexander with a 19-point night. Chris Paul dances inside, takes on Gobert. Kick it out. Shot good. Down by Gallinari.
Nice pass by Chris Paul.
Chris Paul hands it back. Gilgeous-Alexander takes it over Gobert. Too strong. Rebound Ferguson. Shot clock at 14. Chris Paul. He'll fire up a 3. Got it. 15 for Paul.
Chris Paul's hurting the Jazz. He's got 15. You mentioned it, but he's got 5 rebounds too to go along with 3 assists.
Chris Paul has some room to work.
That's too much
Takes
room.
advantage on that free throw line extended.
Well, it's interesting because Ed Davis is not Gobert. He doesn't have the length.
Bogdanovich picks up Chris Paul. He'll fire for 3. Drains it.
That's impressive. Chris Paul has been on from three-point land tonight. That's his 4th made 3.
Baseball pass stolen by Donovan, and the Jazz win the opener. Hard fought, but a 5-point win led by that young man, Donovan. Plays like Donovan, 32.
Costume spirit in full effect here on Halloween Eve in downtown Oklahoma City. Anything to be scared of? We'll find out as the Oklahoma City Thunder welcome the Portland Trailblazers, a couple of Northwest Division foes, meeting for the first time here in 2019-2020. Ball got around Hood initially as Noel tried to keep it alive. Couldn't volleyball it to himself. Here is Lillard in transition. Lost it momentarily, got it outside, and McCollum, who is over 41% in his career from 3, doesn't need any extra daylight to knock that shot down.
He's a very intelligent player. He realized that, look, coach, we don't need to run a play here. I got Tolliver backpedaling in transition with me with the basketball, so just continue to make that type of move on offense.
Well, if you think that the mid-range shot is completely out of the NBA, just watch C.J. McCollum. Boy, what a patient play there from Damian Lillard. That was a very well-executed play in the pick and roll as he waited for Labissiere. McCollum feeling it here in the first quarter, but a misfire there as Lillard crashes the boards for the offensive rebound. Now matched up on the rookie and Darius Bazley. Bazley does a good job of staying down on the ball fake. Lillard sizing him up. Boy, that is just good offense. Schroeder trying to get by Simons. Another nice move. A little stutter step there to get to the rim. Bazemore. Oh, it was halfway down before finally pinballing in. So Bazemore, who's bounced around here over the last couple of years, spent some time with the Atlanta Hawks. Such a big boost for really any NBA team when you can get that kind of production, and it helps when you got a guy like Zach Schroeder who averaged over 15 points per game last year. Helping that second unit surge, and we see him right on cue there. There is a teardrop. McCollum has taken the bulk of the shots for the Blazers in this first half, 11. Tolliver make it 2 in a row. So we saw the first one go down just a couple of moments ago, and he makes it 2 in a row. Tough step back from Damian Lillard. Now just 1 out of 7 from the floor. Problem is he's been an outstanding second half player so far in the first 4 games of the season.
Yeah, they're just making him work. Buck, our studio analyst, Greg Buckner, talked about just putting bodies in front of him. He's exactly right. You got to do that with that guy.
Paul, right to the 17-foot jumper there by Dennis Schroeder, who is wide open. As Paul negotiates, got to his spot mid-range, knocks it down on the foul. Looked like that is Whiteside picking up another whistle. Front line of the Blazers somewhat undermanned. Lillard's going to take the bump. That's going to count, and the foul.
And those are the plays, you know what, you're okay with that every now and then.
Thunder did do a good job of getting the free throw line in the first half. 14 out of 17. Trailed the majority, but well within striking distance here is Noel. He spots up, faces up, and knocks it down. Noel sets the screen. SGA with a defensive player on his back. Too much traffic. Has to put up the shot. With 0.9 seconds left on the shot clock, Mike, it wasn't pretty, but if you're the Thunder, you take it.
And see, he took a little contact on that play. I like the fact that the officials didn't blow the whistle. They're just making it, letting the players make those kind of calls. Tough shot by Damian Lillard. Thunder did a good job with those two, Lillard and McCollum.
Lillard, that is in and out, no good. He thought he got fouled. Lillard with just 9 points in the game. As you said, Thunder have done a good job on him defensively. Chris Paul, the smooth stroke from downtown, and we are tied at 53. 4 minutes into this third quarter. Chris Paul around the screen. Boy, he's been making a living out of doing that. Mid-post left side. Now he goes right at Tolliver. Used that left hand and it hit the back iron. SGA thought he got fouled.
And he got taken out on the play.
McCollum, total flyby, and that leaves him wide open for the triple.
Gallinari, he's a smart player.
He's just got such a quiet demeanor about him, and he just kind of lets his game speak as Lillard lets that layup speak, as he was able to shed Terrence Ferguson briefly enough to get that scoop layup up.
That was a good look from Mike Muscala.
Well, it has been a tough night for him, shooting the basketball, particularly from three. He's missed all 5. Bazemore, boy, another transition 3 for Kent Bazemore, who spent the last couple of years with the Atlanta Hawks. Inside, Chris Paul found the open man as the Thunder finding a little extension here in this fourth quarter. Maybe a little rhythm on the offensive end. Whiteside, the deep catch, and that's an easy deuce. Once you catch it that far underneath the cup, really all you got to do is turn around and shoot it like he did. That is a deep 3, 34 feet right on cue. Damian Lillard drains the triple. Paul probing for space. Pulls up for 18 feet. Nice jump shot from Chris Paul. Starting to find his offensive game here in the second half. He's now got 16 points. Lillard drives, kicks, open man. 3 is good for C.J. McCollum. Lillard again around the screen, and that is 2 in a row for Damian Lillard, who can microwave offense instantly as Paul carving around the lane. The pass intended for Noel, but it clanked off his hands. Lillard again pulls up and knocks another 3 down as Damian Lillard, 3 consecutive Blazers threes. Portland's made 6 consecutive shots. Some thanks to Lillard. The kick out to Hood as he buries another 3. That is 5 consecutive made threes for Portland. An opportunity to dig into this 5-point deficit. But the Thunder now got to slow down Damian Lillard, who's made 3 consecutive threes. As right now, Paul tasked with trying to slow him down. Nope, went into Whiteside as he throws it down. And as a defensive player, it's hard to avoid an offensive player leaning into you. Here is Paul. Paul dumps it off. Nerlens Noel. The perfect play, the perfect execution, in the perfect amount of time because it didn't take up a whole lot of time off the clock. So Portland looking to run a little time off the clock with that 2-point advantage. Schroeder waiting to make a move. The kick out, Hood. Corner 3 is good. You want the ball out of Damian Lillard's hands, and so the Thunder forced the pass, but the execution by Rodney Hood, a massive 3. So once again, it is the duality here as that free throw is missed. Paul, with time winding down, will go to the rim, score with 1.4, but the ball inbounded to McCollum, and that will do it. As it's Portland outlasting the Thunder. Final score 102-99, and what was another extremely well-fought, valiant effort here by the Thunder. Thunder basketball rolls on. It is game 2 of this 3-game homestand as Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Dennis Schroeder look to lead the Thunder back into the win column against a familiar foe, clipping the Pelicans, led by Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, a couple of newcomers coming over from the Los Angeles Lakers here at Chesapeake Energy Arena in downtown Oklahoma City. Nice pass, beautifully done. Chris Paul, Nerlens Noel hook up for the finish. And now Paul with the deflection creates the steal. Trying to find a man, slashing to the rim, and Gilgeous-Alexander counted in the foul as he went right at Melly. Noel and Paul trying to run some action on that pick and roll. Paul, a little step back, and that fadeaway is good. Well, Diallo's in the game now in place of Terrence Ferguson, and that time Brandon Ingram just a better offensive move. He spun toward the baseline. That is tough to defend, but Diallo right back the other way, slams it home off a nice pass from CP. Paul, hesitation, kick out, open man, Bazley 3. That time, he knocks it down from the corner on the perfect execution off the drive and dish from Chris Paul and the rookie, Darius Bazley. After misfiring on his first 2, that one's got to feel good for the 19-year-old. Gallinari gathers, sets the feet, and nails the 3. Paul trying to shed the double team. Gallinari straight away, right down the pipe from 3. Paul, he steps into the 3. 8th first half 3 for the Thunder. We got off to a slow start, but it picked it up here in quarter number 2. There's a 3. CP steps right into it, buries it from downtown. Chris Paul's going to have to make a move here under 5. Gives it up. SGA aims, fires, and hits the 3 from downtown. Pelicans will be able to answer right back. Nobody decided to defend Nerlens Noel and says, why not? I'll just take that mid-range.
You're right. You see how far Jahlil Okafor was off of him on that play.
Paul trying to take Okafor, steps back with that patent Chris Paul fadeaway. Oh, this time it's put on a platter from CP to Noel, who knew exactly what to do with it. Paul left open, little miscommunication on defending the 3, and you can see the frustration from Lonzo Ball as Chris Paul makes him pay. As that 3 off the front of the rim will officially do it with a rebound by SGA, and there is the final buzzer as this Thunder team outlasts the Pelicans for win number 2 on the season. Now 2-4 back into the win column, which has got to feel good.
On a beautiful November night in Oklahoma City, the Magic begin a 2-game roadie looking to quiet the Thunder. They'll invade Chesapeake Energy Arena in search of their first road win of the season. And the Magic start a 2-game road trip tonight here in OKC.
And of course, Nerlens Noel did a terrific job in his absence as fast break bucket for the Magic the other way.
Well, that's what you don't want for a team that's struggling on the offensive end. You don't want to let them get out in transition and get those easy deuces as Ferguson curls off the screen, catches, shoots, and hits.
Well, he looked like he's been working on that. As the Thunder turn the Magic over, and they're out in transition.
Gallinari spots up, corner 3. Boy, it was halfway down. An offensive rebound by Adams. Paul left wide open, straight away, right down the pipe for 3. And the Thunder open up the offense here in the early part of this first quarter. Everybody getting into the action. The latest, an 8-0 run. Gallinari again recognizes some space. This time shoots over Mo Bamba. You don't want to attack Bamba, so kind of a wise decision there to just pull up. Schroeder around that Steven Adams wall of a screen. Now 5 on the timer. Paul off the dribble, pulls up that 3, and he cans it with the shot clock winding down.
And how many times have you seen him do that throughout his career?
Gallinari got the flyby, wide open 3 on the way. Adams able to tip it to himself. And a fresh 14 for the Thunder. Paul, stutter step, scoop layup all the way to the rim, uncontested.
That's a bad man with the basketball. He is so deceptive. I mean, he just literally pushed the ball forward, split him, and then had no one in front of the rim.
Now numbers for the Thunder, 2-on-1. The trailer is Bazley right down the lane for the two-handed slam.
And did you see Chris Paul? He was licking his chops like he was out on the prairie, man, just hunting a prey. And just saw Bazley coming out of it, probably out of his rearview mirror, and once again, he pokes the ball away from Fournier, puts the Thunder in transition.
You don't want Fournier to get hot, and he can in a hurry. That time it forced him off of his spot. Gallo spots up. That is almost automatic as he aims, fires, and hits from three-point land.
And Steven Adams, just showing the family values. He just sets a punishing screen that wipes out 2 black shirts.
SGA threads the needle. Ball moving out to the perimeter. Paul drives right by Aaron Gordon. Forget about it. That's a mismatch all day long as Paul's going to be able to blow up by him every single time. Now SGA goes behind his back. Ferguson, catch fire 3. That one's going to rattle in. And the ball movement again sets up a wide open look. And this time it's Ferguson capitalizing from downtown. As Paul, high dribble, slings it back out to the outside. Baisley full steam ahead. Avoids the defensive player and still lays it up and in. A good shot blocker in Bamba. Did not matter as the rookie able to finish. And trust Fultz, who then commits the turnover.
And that's what you want. Coming out of a timeout, it's a set piece for the Magic. And you get a turnover.
Hand off. Adams gets it back. Dumps it back off. Paul underneath. Defense was off balance, and this time it's Adams with the assist.
Well, the Thunder right now are making all the right plays. You got back-to-back stops, and you've scored on 3 straight possessions.
Paul with 2 on the timer, right at the elbow, and he knocks it down. And that'll do it. As SGA snatches away that rebound. And this one is in the books. There was nothing easy about it. But it results in a win.
There is Billy Donovan, his 5th year coaching the Thunders, taking them to the postseason his first 4, I should say. And last year, for the 3rd straight year, they lost in the opening round after going 49-33 in the regular season. Murray with a high floater for 12. Spurs by 2.
That was right over the top of Steven Adams.
Adams the other way. Just about put a couple of Spurs in the basket with him and a timeout from Pop. First bucket for DeRozan. Chris Paul answers with his first basket. 5 seconds remain. Paul with Gay. 2. Tough 3. And he drains it. Wow.
That's an impossible shot. Absolutely impossible.
And then Paul goes to work on the baseline. Oklahoma City takes the lead, 36-35. Chris Paul gets it right back. Jakob Poeltl fires a 3. And Paul knocks that down. He's 46% from 3 in the early going this year. Chris Paul picks off that pass.
And he had Rudy Gay in the corner, and he knew it.
And OKC takes advantage of it. Paul over LA. Tough shot. Big time make. 71-67. Chris Paul. Timeout Spurs.
That's about as tricky as it can possibly get, Bill. I mean, he's in traffic. Did you see him throw that ball between his legs?
Well, that kind of internship is coming to college athletics, apparently. Adams to Paul. Got a little push off of Murray. Back to Adams. Left-hand hook. Oh, Murray poked it away from Chris Paul. 10 on the shot clock. Paul comes right back and makes the jumper.
It's almost like you poked the bear.
Exactly.
Chris Paul got angry, looked at the official, wanted a call. There was really no call to be made there. And then he just takes it upon himself to score the ball.
Paul with it. 9 on the shot clock. Gallinari off the screen for 3.
I mean, he's shooting that ball like he's a 2-guard.
That'll be it. And the Spurs snap the 2-game losing skid and stop OKC's winning streak at 2 as LaMarcus Aldridge a season-high 39, and the Spurs win it 121-112, a season-best 54% from the floor.
Starting lineups: D'Lo, Jordan Poole, Glenn Robinson, Alec Burks for Eric Paschall, and Willie Cauley-Stein. It's Paul, Gilgeous-Alexander, Ferguson, Gallinari, and Steven Adams for OKC. Chris Paul mid-range. As he's gotten older, that mid-range has gotten lethal.
And even if the defender's there, he'll fade away so he gets separation kind of naturally.
kick out to Baisley.
See, that's not, you can't do that. Strong side corner. Steve Kerr is going, no.
So-
You stay within striking distance. Stay away from mistakes defensively. Oh, my.
Yalu throwing one down.
He just put someone in the basket.
Chris Paul, that patented mid-range.
They looked like they had some indecision there. Didn't know if they wanted to switch. Jordan Poole got caught in no man's land.
Baisley, kind of a warm-up three.
So I think Marquise Chris wanted Kai Bowman to X out to the corner. Instead, they both go with the roller. You leave a wide open shooter in the corner.
Burks flying in and couldn't get the layup. Would have made it a 10-point game. And the Thunder, Ferguson is not going to return to earth.
He loves playing the Warriors. What is it with this guy?
Down 23 to within 11, and the Dubs still grinding, losing bodies and still playing.
They don't stop playing.
Gallinari in the short corner. That is a rotation. They have to stay attached. Gilgeous-Alexander, run him off the line, and what a finish! What a finish for that kid. Ooh. Chris Paul will show and go and reties the game.
That was the issue last night. Force him to the screen. That big is on the other side of the screen. There's no one there to help you.
Muscala an open three. He made one, missed a couple in a row. Keep hanging around, keep shortening the game, and try to steal it at the end. And speaking of steals, Chris Paul and Gilgeous-Alexander gets the lay-in. Chris Paul's trying to do everything right now.
Be ready to help.
That mid-range. So Chris Paul, bucket, steal, bucket. Muscala, he's hit 3 threes.
And that's the one guy. He's on fire right now.
Gallinari wing jumper. He's done just enough tonight. Chris Paul will end things right there. Jordan Poole's got it. Need a 3 or a very quick 2, and he lays it up and in. Still a 2-possession game. Got a foul right away.
Little hesitation there got him through.
Got a foul right away, even if it is Chris Paul.
Got to go quick. Oh, no.
Jordan Poole turned it over, and that will do it.
"24 hours ago, the Thunder downed the Golden State Warriors, but tonight the attention turns to Eastern Conference supremacy as the Milwaukee Bucks make their only trip to Oklahoma City this season with the reigning MVP in Giannis Antetokounmpo. Paul knifing his way down the lane. 5 on the timer. And the pull-up by Gilgeous-Alexander. Smooth stroke, knocks it down to tie it at 4. Paul looking for some space, fading away, and he got the friendly bounce, the soft bounce.
That deflection came from Matthews.
Well, if they're going to keep giving Muscala the wide open look, he's going to have to knock him down, and he has his second 3 of the game. Muscala tees it up and cans another triple. As Mike Muscala started the season 1 out of 19, but he's got, well, they let Paul in the corner, and he makes him pay as all the attention was on SGA's drive. Brown tries to close out on Paul, outside Muscala. He lines it up and buries the 3 with 1 second left.
And the Bucks have done a good job of tightening things up for the Thunder right now. They're not allowing them to get into that pick and roll game. Chris Paul does a good job of getting in that middle ground.
Hard drive by Giannis as it hits the back of the rim. Schroeder waiting for the convoy. Paul left open for 3. Back-to-back big buckets by Chris Paul to cut that double-digit deficit in half. And there's the deflection by Chris Paul to force the steal and the turnover. Up ahead, Schroeder cherry-picking, able to lay it up and in. Well, Dennis Schroeder's had back-to-back big 3s. Paul got away with a travel, floats it up and scores! And it's a 1-possession game with 41 seconds left. Final couple of seconds. They leave Paul alone, and that 3 is good, but not enough here in a very entertaining game between Oklahoma City and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Last year, the 76ers came to Oklahoma City and broke a 19-game losing streak against the Thunder. Tonight, trying to break a 4-game road losing streak with a rested Joel Embiid back in the lineup. He's a future Hall of Famer, now mentoring here in Oklahoma City. We speak of 34-year-old point guard Chris Paul. Tonight, Paul leading his squad against the Sixers in the first meeting of the season between the teams. NBC Sports Philadelphia on the case. Game 2 of a 3-game roadie. The Sixers taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Go.
Indeed, the players hold his dirt as Ferguson gave it back to Chris Paul. Paul these days averaging just over 15. That's third best on the squad. He dancing inside as Adams went for the loose ball, and Joel was able to do his thing. He has 7 already here in the first.
How are you supposed to stop that? That guy's allowed to do that.
Danilo Gallinari, good three-point shooter, always a capable scorer throughout his 11-year NBA career. Baisley rolling, and he slams for 2. Darius Baisley, again, he's 6'8", 210. Again, the Sixers employing a zone. The Sixers rarely do so, but it's the third time tonight we've seen it.
1-3-1 action, 3 across the foul line.
And Chris Paul able to bust that zone with a 3. He is the best three-point shooter at 43%.
If you want to continue to see Ben post up that hard and that aggressively, eventually you have to get him the ball in the post, or he's going to stop posting up.
Terrence Ferguson answering with a 3. Adams off the Horford miss. 3 on the way, and down it goes for Ferguson. And now the Thunder with its largest lead at 8. Chris Paul.
Basketball is such an easy game sometimes, huh?
He makes it look easy.
He really does.
Paul. Paul over Horford, got it done. Paul encountering Embiid, got it done. That is vintage Chris Paul. Gallinari against Harris. Gallinari for the lead, and we have free basketball. We're going to overtime. Sixers again down 3, operating here without Harris. It's Embiid, and a rebound to Paul. Gallinari for 3. Paul. The Sixers will lose 2 straight after their 3-game win streak, which came after the 5-0 start. Their 5th straight loss on the road. They dropped to 7-5 on the season. Oklahoma City, the first time this season they've beaten a winning team. It breaks a 2-game losing streak, and they improve to 5-7.
Our story continues in downtown Los Angeles tonight. Paul George and the Clippers will look for their 2nd straight win against some old friends. George has been flawless in his return, but will have his hands full tonight as 3 former Clippers return to Staples Center.
What a feed inside by a couple of former Clippers, Chris Paul to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They're putting length on Chris Paul in the opening quarter. Gets around Harkless and finds a wide open Steven Adams. Trez, a little leaner that had worked so well the first couple of weeks of the season. Scoreless second quarter so far. 2nd possession for Oklahoma City. And there's our first bucket.
We know that Chris Paul, anytime he can get to that mid-range area, he's very comfortable.
Trez picked up by Chris Paul. Forces the pass into the corner to an open Beverly for 3.
And if you're Montrez right there, I like you being unselfish. However, you got Chris Paul on you. You're 6'9", you can get a bucket on anybody. Go ahead and get that bucket right there.
Chris Paul comes back and kind of leaves his calling card, knocks down the mid-range jumper. And there again, Harkless guarding Chris Paul. Oh, he was so good at that. I feel like you maybe invented that, and Chris Paul has continued the practice. 2-man game with Chris Paul and Danilo Gallinari.
Look at Chris Paul, ran 2 pick and rolls to get the matchup he wanted with Lou Will at the end of the shot clock, another half.
Zoo goes belly to belly with his counterpart for Oklahoma City. Chris down the lane, goes right back to Adams, who leaves it in. George to Zubac, juggles, Patterson picks up the loose ball. Zubac's just battling inside, trying to keep it alive. Pull up three for Chris Paul. Got it. He has a game-high 16. Paul down the lane and down the hatchet goes, his own Park Place, and Doc Rivers not at all happy with the defense for the Clippers. They lead by 3 midway through the fourth. To the rim with the right hand, Montrez does it again!
And how about the pass right there through the legs by Lou Will.
28 points for Montrezl Harrell. Gallo for 3! We are tied! Paul George flirts with the defense. Stripped by Chris Paul. Paul theatrically falls over and draws the whistle. Timeout Clippers. Oklahoma City leads by 2 with 31 seconds to play in the game. Pat will inbound. Clippers have a timeout remaining, and a whistle on either side is going to be free throws. Lou to Paul George, curling, catching. Oh, damn! The Clippers take a 1-point lead.
We talked about this several times, Brian. To be a great team, you have to be really good at home, and you have to be able to win ugly games at times. This was an ugly basketball game. Nice miss on purpose right there by Paul George.
Take a look at OKC. Chris Paul didn't have a big game scoring the other night. Steven Adams, I know you're worried a little bit about him, Stu, because he was just not his aggressive self in Los Angeles. That's a nice look to Diallo, and down the middle he scores. With 4, with 3, with 2 in the quarter, they let Schroeder go in and shoot the floater. He scores, and that will be the end of the quarter as Davis heaves it. Steven Adams with a quick jump hook. The Lakers have a 2-point lead. A lead late in the game, and then a late run by OKC nearly drew them even. The Lakers pulled away at the very end. Gallinari hits a 3.
CP3 will be making that 15-footer when he's in his rocking chair.
Now Russell Westbrook, the former Thunder player, now of course with Houston, he's had a triple-double against 29 teams, and he'll get a couple of more opportunities this year as a member of the Rockets to do it against his former team. And join LeBron in that exclusive club.
Right now it's very exclusive. one member.
That's right. It's what made it a historic night for him. This is the free throw. 2 for 4 on the night, but he's got 11 points.
2 for 1.
Paul's got it. Smart play. He knows.
Yep.
He knows.
Still one of the most cerebral players in the game.
That's what 15 years at the top of your game will do for you. And Adams will get yet another 3-point look at it. Ferguson is his game above the rim. He's going to shoot it from beyond the arc. And he hits him. His career high is 24. That came against the Lakers. Here is Muscala. That's deep. And he's got it.
And that's why they put him in at center and took out Steven Adams. They want to stretch the Lakers out a little bit.
13 turnovers, Lakers. Again, all those points off of turnovers the other night helped win the game. OKC, much better ball security tonight. And we're tied at 116 on the 3 by Chris Paul. 16 threes for the Lakers tonight. 16 of them. Count that! And 1 for Chris Paul. Here is Paul. Paul with a pick by Adams. Chris Paul stepping back. He's going to go to the rim all the way to score. 1-point game, 11.8. And Schroeder nearly stole it. Huge free throw by Davis. Would bring it to 3. He's perfect tonight from the line. 3-point game. 3.8 to play. Lakers up by 3. Last chance for the Thunder. Gallinari. And LeBron reads it. He steals it. And ladies and gentlemen, the Lakers have won their 6th game in a row and their 13th of the year and 13th of their last 14.
The Bay Bridge separates and connects Oakland and San Francisco, and the site changes tonight as Oracle Arena And now the Chase Center here in downtown San Francisco as the Thunder get their first glimpse of this brand new arena to take on the Golden State Warriors. As Gallinari, right on cue, knocks down the first shot of the game, that one from 3.
That's going to be a long 2 for T-Ford.
And again, the happy melody on the alley-oop. This time it's Paul with the perfect delivery.
I mean, you know, CP3, man, come on, man. That's nasty.
As Paul recognizes some space, open man in the corner, and that one drops in again. This time it's Burks for 3. And the biggest lead of the game for Golden State. But a quick answer on the other end. That is Chris Paul for 3. And a much-needed bucket.
Absolutely. And a 2-for-1 as well.
Now it's under 5. Shot clock. Robinson defended by Paul. Cauley-Stein, you want him taking the shot. That's way off, and the Thunder have time here with under 5 seconds. Paul double-teamed, heaves it from half court. Oh, and he got it to go!
Wow.
46 feet, Chris Paul at the buzzer. And the Thunder steal a 3 right at the gun.
And how do you stay calm? If you CP3, you make a shot like that.
Gallo in the post, defended by Robinson. Draws the second defensive player. SGA gets doubled. Now Gallo drives, kicks out to the open man. Catch fire 3, Paul, that is good.
Good deflection by Paul on Pascal.
And he sets it up in transition for the pretty alley-oop to Ferguson, who hammers it home.
And this comes with just stopping the basketball. Your offense is, you know, has been solid, and you like what's happening on that end. You know, keep putting those 2 together.
Paul, catch fire 3, that is good. And that's a big one, and that's a good start. If you want to dig into what was a double-digit deficit, it's down to 7. And that was the 16th turnover of the night for Oklahoma City. Uncharacteristically high numbers. Bowman misses the runner. Can the Thunder get out on the run? Transition 3, Schroeder. There's another one from downtown. Big shot for Schroeder. 7 on the timer. Gallo matched up on Bowman. Outside to Paul. Paul passed up to 3 instead, takes the jumper and knocks it down. And the Thunder have the 1-point lead, 98-97. And foul when the ball gets inbounded. Poole gets it off, but it might have been deflected. And it was, and the Thunder going to climb all the way back and steal a win here in the Bay Area. The first road win of the season, scoring the final 13 points of the game and holding the Warriors to just 3 points over the final 6 minutes and change.
Brandon Ingram, size advantage on Gilgeous-Alexander. So you can rise over him like this. That's a little bit strong, but I like the look. Gilgeous-Alexander plays through Ingram's contact. And it wasn't a charge, but they leave Ferguson available.
That's his shot.
Guarded.
That's his shot.
That's Terrence Ferguson, a first-round pick a couple of years ago, 21st overall. Lonzo Ball coming up short. Pels have started the game now 2 for 7. They've missed their last 5, 0 for 2 from beyond the arc.
And the difference, look what Chris Paul got. He got 2 feet in the lane.
5 minutes gone by. 8-point game becomes an 11-point game. Yes.
Nice.
Pretty fast, pretty finish on the reverse. Lonzo Ball. J.J. Redick on the dime. Step back, Chris Paul. And that's what Drew Holiday should live on as well. Because Drew Holiday's a big guard. Getting into the paint like that, just like Chris Paul. Mid-range, those are hitting 50% of their shots. They're just not getting stops.
And offense is not the issue.
Right, they're not getting stops. Chris Paul with Noel for the easy one. Everything looks pretty easy right now for OKC.
Right.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander spaces and gets it. And that's the set shot. It'll be Lonzo Ball. They walked away. He burns him.
I love the confidence that he's showing in that shot. Whether or not it's going in or not, you have to believe in yourself and the work that you put in to get to that point.
It's his second triple on his 5th try from beyond the arc. It'll be Chris Paul. He'll get it on the jab step. He kept Jackson Hayes at bay.
And if you're Jackson, that's okay.
Right.
If you're Jackson, that's quite all right.
Wanted Noel. Melly helped and recovered. Not Chris Paul. They got to go. They found the right guy, didn't they?
Yeah. And
man,
if you're Drew, that's not really the guy that you want to help off of right now.
You said it.
He's knocked a couple down.
And
didn't he?
Well, yeah, but he's getting a first step.
Right.
And an
He's
angle.
fast.
Right.
He's fast.
Super fast. Lonzo Ball, 4 of 8 from beyond the arc. Paul's mid-range.
It's a shot. If he gets that ball in his right hand, he's deadly.
Kels.
Again, here's that middle pick and roll.
Yep, it'll be Gallinari. Wrong guy to leave.
Right.
Yep, timeout. Chris Paul.
He's getting back to that right hand.
Got it, and the mid-range.
Back to that right hand.
Shot. And the mid-range.
Right.
For the lead. Chris Paul. Bringing Jackson Hayes out because he's got Adams in a switch inside. Shot clock all the way down. It's going up, and it'll be a 3. And he'll get it.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
Knows how to finish, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
And he did miss one.
There you go.
Now, can you save it and call a timeout?
Yep. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's going on?
Yeah, he called a timeout on the. Didn't Jackson Hayes say timeout? Yeah, they're going to say it's over now because Jackson Hayes stepped out of bounds with the ball.
As the holiday festivities increase, the Thunder's homestand comes to an end, looking for a win and a split after the loss on Wednesday night against the Indiana Pacers. But tonight, for the first time this season, the Minnesota Timberwolves, led by Karl Anthony Towns, come to Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder, looking to get a home split. Towns sizing up Adams, cutting across the lane. Good defense as Adams made that a contest.
That's what you have to do to Towns. You have to just make him feel pressure.
Paul floats it up, off back iron, offensive rebound, got his own miss, fouls it up and in. Now they got the matchup they want. It's Gallo on Teague, and the Thunder get exactly what they want with that made shot.
Well, the Timberwolves have stayed in that zone defense, and they're just standing.
And Paul came over to get that steal, but as he knocked it free, Covington still underneath.
Almost had that. Chris Paul, terrific reading that play.
Paul makes it 6 consecutive shots made for the Thunder here in this first quarter, as both of these teams just continue to convert offense. Paul sizing up Martin. Got around him, steps back, fades, and got that friendly bounce off the back iron. 6 here in the first quarter for Chris Paul. All down low. Adams, all kinds of positioning, had the no-look turnaround hook shot, it drops in. And how about Steven Adams? All around, not one, but 2 screens, one from Gallo and another one from Adams. Now matched up on Towns, takes the jumper and swishes it home. Chris Paul had options there, and he decided to take the jab. Culver way off on the 3.
And you know, you got the right guys. You got the right guys shooting threes.
The no-look left-handed hook shot over Towns. Double team went on Towns, and he recognized and found the open man. It was a streaking Bell to the rim. Again, the T-Wolves open up 7-point lead. Paul with space back outside. SGA thought about a 3, instead floats it up and scores. Nice play by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, now with 8 points.
Oh, that's just beautiful basketball. You know, you just, whatever you need. You know, he's just a Swiss Army knife.
Teague, checked by Nader, steps back, and his hot shooting continues. Boy, the tough shot, and that's 2 consecutive now at the buzzer. That one with the shot clock winding down as Paul again carves out some space down low, knocks it down. He's got 13. But Chris Paul's shooting on the evening has been sensational. Now 7 out of 10, 15 points to lead all Thunder scores. Boy, Teague is now 7 out of 9 from the floor. Gallo trying to get around Okogie, steps back, and there's the shot for Danilo Gallinari. Just his 4th made bucket of the night. Paul so aware as Gallo drives hard to the rim and hammers it down with the 2-handed stuff. So the Thunder closed the gap, got it all the way down to 2 points. After battling here in this third, Gallo trying to line up a 3. That one rattles home.
And how about the nifty pass behind the back, wrap around by CP3.
Oh, Paul counted in the foul. Uses the continuation. Veteran player, veteran move. Culver, hard to the rim, wildly out of control. Thunder stand tall that time. Paul on Napier, nifty move, got to the rim, scores again. As Chris Paul has been the offensive facilitator tonight for the Thunder. Paul. Knew it was short, still got the bounce. That's the second time this game that he's showed that shooter's touch, getting those friendly rims.
And the Thunder needed 2 points, too.
Paul keeps it going.
I'm just laughing because the way he crossed him up, and he went completely a 180.
So one more free throw for Karl Anthony Towns. And what is a 1-point game? See what he does here. He made it. So Adams launches it to Schroeder catches and scores to tie it at 122. Does it count? And what a win for Oklahoma City in comeback fashion. A semi-miracle, but just enough to send this game into an extra period. An extra 5 minutes where the Thunder storm past Minnesota. Final score 139-127 here in overtime.
Chris Paul, as you know, coming over from Houston in the Russell Westbrook deal. Paul in his 15th campaign, averaging nearly 16 points and 6 assists per ball game, and making sure he tucks in his shirt. Nader has some length, but CJ knows that and hits the following hopper.
That's why I call him casual jumper. He just calmly gets into that shot. It's his turns.
Chris Paul navigating off the screen. Lamar, and you were talking about that earlier tonight, about his ability to do so many things on the run. At the edge, off the screen, cross-court pitch. Bazemore had to go low to get it, brought it up high with great form, and he's hit his second three of the night. Ball to step back, got it from the elbow. So the Thunder take a lead of 2 here. Rebound to Damian Lillard. Up the floor, he looks early for his own. He drives into the lane and laid it up and in as he seals a man and spins to the cup. Lillard with a minute left in the quarter, 0 for 7. He's bumped. And the bucket's going to count.
What a play. Yeah. Turns down the screen possibility from Scal, attacks that baseline, dips that shoulder. That's good.
Dave getting his first bucket of the night. Lillard to the line. It's the second free throw. Blazers take the lead back. Paul getting within range. Now the Blazers will get it back, and they can run the clock down with 18 seconds remaining in the quarter. CJ comes off that LaBissiere screen again with effectiveness. Second time they hit him with it.
Yeah, that one looked like a practice shot. He was able to really just ease into that one. Similarly, Chris Paul on this end. Yeah, Steven Adams using the IQ and saying, I like my matchup, but I like yours even better.
Yeah, there were a lot of options there for Paul. So he hits a jumper, 2 of 2 from 3. Carmelo on Chris Paul. And Paul hitting everything right now. 6 of 8, 15 points for Paul. Dave open on the swing. And the bounce pass, he'll hand off then to Simons, who counters with a 3 of his own. Came into the lane, flips it up and in. Gilgeous-Alexander into the lane, pitches across court. Beasley winds up for a 3 though. And the rebound taken by Whiteside. Dame the other way. Surveys. Finds Bazemore. Cruising into a 3. Got it. His third of the night. Thunder a lead here at 10. Lillard outside. Working the 6'5 Gilgeous-Alexander on a Carmelo screen. Gallinari defends. Dame pocket pass to Whiteside for the bucket.
Terrific pass.
Dame with 9 to shoot. Whiteside trying to spring him. Does. 4-3.
Wow. Talk about patience. He stayed in that triple threat position, didn't give up his dribble, so all of his options were available to him. So the moment it opened up, he could take the dribble through and get to the shot. But man,
great vision. Paul.
It's so quick.
Looked like he was Out of options on the baseline, Lamar. Double team, but snakes a pass around there. Melo again sets a solid screen, and Dame steps up and does the rest.
The defense is so preoccupied sometimes with what are we going to do when the screen takes place. We don't want to switch to smaller onto Melo. And while they're trying to figure all that out, Dame is already in the shot motion.
Ooh, nice play. As Chris Paul's been doing it a long time off the screen, finding the well, roll into the cup for the jam. Paul recovers, no reset. In he comes, floats it up and in. Off the screen to Labissiere, hit him in the ear. Back to Dame, laid it in beautifully with the left hand.
Give and go basketball.
Dame hesitates with the left hand dribble, and then fades off the right foot to hit it. A beauty to tie it at 74. Dame darts into the paint. Arcs a high one up over Noel, off the window and in.
Wow, man. This some of the shots he can go to.
Dame, a quick burst. Leaves it for Whiteside right up the alley to lay it in.
And Damian Lillard, one of the best at leading a comeback. Good drive, good dish, nice roll from Hassan.
Dame to the inline. Backs off. With Gallinari on him, he was undeterred, just backed him into the paint. Thunder led by as many as 18 in the second before the Blazers with a 34-27 second quarter, or actually the Thunder with a 34-27 second quarter. Took that 18-point lead, but the Blazers were able to cut into it, pull within 8 at half.
Once again, a big welcome to Vivint Smart Home Arena. Yes, it's a Monday night, and the Jazz are wrapping up a 3-game homestand against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City wins the tip inside. Chris Paul finds the big fella, Steven Adams, who's about 11 points a game, 9+ rebounds. Inside, Chris Paul lays in his first 2.
That's what Chris Paul makes his living. And Gilgeous-Alexander, he's like a hunter almost that has time to get his sight on something. Chris Paul has really become a facilitator. He still has handles. He'll get this ball in the middle, just like that. He'll set guys up.
6 TOs for the Jazz, 4 for the Thunder. Can't finish. Outlet, Schroeder. Niang gives chase, and they're going to count it. It goes down anyway. And Schroeder scores his 4th point of the quarter. Muscala, he'll get some time tonight, and that's what he does. Much like Gallo, he can knock down threes. Muscala turns it over. Niang takes the 3 in and out, and Adams cradles a rebound. Finds Chris Paul, and he'll trot into front court. 33-26. The Jazz have hit just 1 shot in 5 attempts so far in the second. That was her strong quarter against Memphis T. They scored 37 and allowed 18 against the Grizzlies on Saturday night. Scoop it up. That was a tough shot. And guess who, the vet?
Chris Paul right here with the magical shot. Goes up underneath. He wanted a foul. There was contact there, but he'll just have to take the 2, Mr. Paul.
Schroeder back in. Baisley goes down. He takes the shot on the inbound. And I tell you, I'm just watching the floor. Everyone's just stood flat-footed and watch him hit that jumper. It's a 5-point game. As we roll up on 7.5 to play, and Chris Paul, watch out. He's a guy that gets into that rhythm tempo, and he can hurt you in a hurry. Donovan passes out. Donovan shot, short, tapped out by Gobert, picked up by Adams.
Bogey just cannot find a consistent stroke tonight.
Yeah, he's 4 of 13. Good look, but it seems like he's been crowded a lot, T. Chris Paul back-to-back buckets. Tapped out, picked up, Moutier the other way. He'll run against Paul, drives it home, can't finish. Schroeder, again left alone, and knocks it home deep. Dante Exum has just strolled off the bench for the first time tonight. Schroeder's just a dynamic player off the bench.
Well, that's the first part, is accepting the role and just thriving in it.
Right now he's on the court with Paul and drains a J.
Well, right here, a veteran move from Chris Paul. He gives Rudy kind of the okey-doke, makes him think he's going to pass it, and calmly knocks down the mid-range.
The old okey-doke. Rudy, nice job slipping down the baseline. 19 for the big man, 12 rebounds. And again, T, he's only missed 1 shot in 10 attempts, but Chris Paul knocks down another hoop here on the floor. That cut, easy bucket. Gilgeous-Alexander. Well, the Thunder have now won 5 of their last 6. Quinn Snyder headed to the locker room, has to be disappointed. The Jazz dropped to 13-11 and now 9-3 at home.
No Carter out of Duke. He doesn't have the same size as Adams, but he still plays that center position.
Likes to play around that basket. T-Bird says, hello, I'm back in the building. It's been a while.
Paul pushes it into the front court. Now his turn to drive on Arcidiacono, and he scores, stepping back outside the blocks. Paul looking to pass, finds the open man. Schroeder got the flyby, pulls up for three. That one rattles home from the corner, so Dennis Schroeder able to answer back with a triple of his own. Ferguson is able to come out of the timeout and drill another three. That one's from the corner. And Billy Donovan have really enjoyed production from Nerlens Noel because of plays like that. What a pass from Chris Paul. As Paul lines it up for three, right down the pipe. Chris Paul with a wide open shot as he converts. Now they go inside, right out of the timeout, and Steven Adams with a nice slam. Levine had it poked away by Paul. Now Paul leaks out on the up-ahead pass from Adams and scores in transition. Schroeder steals the inbounds pass off of White. Paul catches and scores. And 4 quick points makes it a 10-point game. Paul got around the screen this time. It's executed to perfection as Paul put it on a platter for Noel. Paul surveys the floor, watch the three straight away, and nails the three straight away. Paul, can he make it 2 in a row? He can as he splashes home a big-time three. Paul, another three from the outside as Paul is feeling it. Gallo for the tie, lets it fly and scores. Paul steps into that shot and another huge three from Chris Paul as his dazzling display from the outside continues. Gallo wide open for three. And the ball got poked away by Paul. Paul drains another one. Thunder got to play it straight up. Levine drives hard and the left-handed finish. Got to get it in and get a shot up quickly. The lob into Adams. We're going to get a foul on Carter. And he banks in the first. Markkanen's got to get it in. Levine with one. Launches way off target. Comeback complete. So what exactly is defensive 3 seconds, Mike, for the fans that might not know?
Well, you got 2.9 to be guarding someone or not be guarding someone. You can step away from your man for 2.9 seconds, but you've got to get back to within arm's reach of him within that count.
It's been the NBA's version of not wanting teams to play zone as Terrence Ferguson was so happy to be getting back in action the other night. He said he was just glad to be out of a suit. And another alley-oop. This time it's Chris Paul putting it on a platter for Noel, who's making a habit here in this first half of punishing Lorenz Clark. The first-round pick out of San Jose State is 5 out of 7 from the floor. Thunder have not been able to slow him down here in this first half.
He's also the leading scorer for the Grizzlies off the bench.
Well, you give Chris Paul that much space and he's going to make you pay. Sort of a frustrating sequence there for the Thunder, yet deficit down to 8, but back-to-back threes by Memphis.
And that's been the story, not only along with the painted area.
He makes it look easy.
Yeah, that's just playground basketball because these guys are so good defensively. You got to throw something at them like that.
Paul again lobs it up for Nerlens Noel. His fourth alley-oop. Brooks got down low again. Dylan Brooks. He has been a bit of a problem for the Thunder. Just his physicality. He's a big player. Thunder had a hard time slowing him down. Paul got down low on his own. And there's a much-needed Thunder bucket. All matched up, but here's Gallinari with Morant on his back. He's got options. Hill lurking. Gallo outside. CP wants the three, and got the three. And once again, we are tied at 108. There's a steal by Paul as he stepped into the passing lane on the intended pass for Crowder.
And just like the other night against the Bulls, the Thunder have cut off those backdoor cuts, and they're still in those passes now.
Great pass inside as Paul shreds down that Memphis defense to give the Thunder the lead. Thunder slow down Morant as he coughs it up. Schroeder was left cherry pecking down low, and he throws it down with two hands as he was able to springboard up to the rim. There's Paul. They fell asleep on him. And if you're going to fall asleep, might as well take the shot.
Well, he does such a good job of deceiving you. He's trying to get the ball to his teammates.
Back to a tie game at 120 here under a minute to go. Paul, big shot again. Second free throw for Schroeder. That is good. 4 big ones here in the closing moments. Pressuring the basketball on Morant. Under 5. Clark, a 3. Off the mark, no good. And it's in the books. And for the second consecutive game, a massive second half comeback completed by Oklahoma City. Christmas is about spirit and belief, but it's been the Thunder's belief in itself the last 2 games that has led to back-to-back mini miracle comebacks. What's in store here tonight as the Thunder welcome Devin Booker, Ricky Rubio, and the Phoenix Suns to Chesapeake Energy Arena for the first matchup between these two teams of 2019-2020. Gallo, offensive rebound ripped away by Adams for a fresh 14.
I'll tell you, giving up those offensive rebounds and the way he gets them is huge for the Thunder. And look what it leads to. That's the best case scenario.
SGA is feeling it here in this first quarter as we open up quarter number 2. As Paul, his first shot of the game, check that number 2, and he will knock it down. Schroeder, like he does so many times, coming off of that baseline inbounds pass, just catches and puts it up. I mean, that's a play that we've probably seen 15, 20 times this year, Mike.
And that makes coaches smile because that's a set piece. As Baines matches Baisley from the other end with his first 3 of the ball game. That's another big improvement from his game coming over from Boston.
Paul, if he's got the space, he's certainly going to take advantage. Paul got not 1 but 2 screens to set him free, and it results in an easy deuce. And the Thunder give it right back, though, as Baines inside. He's got 7. Gallo gathers, little sidestep action, and switches home that 3 right down the pipe.
And he moved Baines twice.
Well, Chris, after going 1 for 13 out in Denver, this is the 3rd straight 20-point game for Danilo back here in OKC. I talked to him about having to bounce back, and he said, you play so many games in this league, you're going to have a bad game or 2, but fortunately, the NBA schedule allows you to come back 2 nights later and get back into it. So it was a great experience with this team, having that dud in Denver and then being able to come back and step up for his team now 3 straight games in a row.
Oh, so there's Chris Paul coming back and answering the button. Would have a much bigger lead than it does here as Paul continues to facilitate. Got it right back. Got around Rubio. Steps back, and there's that exact move where you put the brakes on and the defensive player runs right into you.
Yeah, he got him on his backside.
Choppy 3rd quarter. Paul, how about that? Set it up high, and it came down hard as Noel caught it at the apex. Both offenses with some high-octane plays, and again, same connection, deja vu, 2 consecutive plays between Paul and Noel.
Come on, man, that's not fair.
Nice move by Kaminsky. Boy, spun free, but missed the easy bunny inside.
And you know why? Nerlens challenged that shot.
Schroeder wants the 3, and got the 3. How about Nerlens Noel? Another denial inside as the Thunder, excellent job getting back defensively.
There's only a couple of guys can block that kind of shot, and he's one of them in the entire league.
Bader, catch fire 3. That one's going to rattle home on that missile of an assist from Chris Paul. Well, no miracle comeback needed here tonight as the Thunder take care of business in Game 3 of this homestand and smother the Phoenix Suns for a big double-digit win, 126-108. So the Thunder defense standing tall here in the early part. How about the Euro step inside, and just another athletic play from Steven Adams. Boy, had a step, got it back outside, and splashes home for Gilgeous-Alexander.
That's coming off a missed shot where you had help coming down to CP hits a mid-range shot. He looks at pick and roll situation, forcing the decision to try to figure out what they want to do. And just like that, he's going a modest 4-0 run.
Nifty pass from Paul to get it back out to the perimeter. Has to make a move here. Matched up on the much taller Brooks, and he got it to go as the shot clock was expiring. Plenty of time for a catch and shoot. Nader got it off and scores the three. 8 consecutive points for the Grizzlies, and that slows down thanks to another critical three from Abdul Nader here in this first half. Paul trying to answer back, and does as he switches one home from the outside. Shot clock is off. Schroeder sets, fires, and hits the three. Adams got that pinball bounce. Just call it the shooter's touch. And again, with the shot clock down to 5, what a pass. And CB slung it over to Adams. And another punch home. And Paul on the baseline knocks down the 13-footer. Paul wanted to give it up. Nope, takes it himself. And he got the friendly hop. Paul looking for the screen. Got it from Adams. And he scores with that floating shot. That three is good. It's Paul. Everything out on the perimeter, using the screen from Adams, floats it up, and it swishes in. As the Thunder have the 4-game winning streak snapped.
Deontay Burton. Oh my goodness, that'll be the shot of the night.
Wow.
That'll be the shot of the night. Deontay Burton. Wow, hung in the air and cocked it a couple times, throws it through. Wow, what a dime. Paul finds Noel at the rim. PJ Washington. Hornets continue to have an offer from deep.
This is uncanny.
Oh, poor PJ. He's got to guard him. Wow. That's a mismatch. Steven Adams has got him by 60 pounds. OKC played last night at home and lost by a good margin against Memphis. Hornets will see Memphis their next game, which will be on Sunday in the Bluff City. Chris Paul up and down.
It's his game right there. It's his first made field goal.
Schroeder. And it's Schroeder. Oh. Chris Paul hits the fadeaway.
I'm doubling him. I'm taking the ball out of his hands. He's too good. End of quarters.
Hornets have outscored the Thunder by 22 with Washington on the floor. And look at Chris Paul. Chris Paul scores and he's fouled. Chris Paul lobs it for Adams. Out to Schroeder. Shot clock's at 4. Oh. Steven Adams got behind the defense and Paul found it.
It got all about him. He had a shot, threw it out, and the entire defense followed the basketball and forgot about Adams.
Chris Paul from the free throw line. Hornets call timeout. Miles. Got it! 1-point game. Miles Bridges. Cody's on Chris Paul. Long 2. We've seen that before. Chris Paul hits a 2, and it's a 3-point game. PJ behind the defense. Makes it a 1-point game. Schroeder is fouled by Rozier. 8.9 remaining. And we'll have free throws. Hornets down 2. No timeout. And Devontae's going to take it out of bounds.
Yeah, Hornets have already talked about this. Yeah, they're going to give it to Devontae on the run. Right there.
Hornets down 2. Devontae. Ties it. Tie ball game. Chris Paul. Overtime. PJ. a 5-point lead for the Thunder. PJ calls his own number. Fouled! PJ Washington is fouled, and he'll have free throws. Well, PJ Washington's going to have to miss now. The miss. PJ! And that's the way it ends. On a Friday night in Uptown, the Hornets fall by 2 in overtime to Oklahoma City.
Lowry has it swatted away.
Beasley, big time block right there. Gilgeous-Alexander, the other end, gets the reward.
Chris Paul makes the three. And Nerlens Noel counted in the foul. Gilgeous-Alexander makes the three in a 1-point game. The opportunity to kind of turn it up here.
Oh, and this team, you know, for much of this season have been so good at coming out of that locker room.
As Paul brings it into the front court, working with Adams.
Nice little fake
and a
right
5-0 run to begin this third quarter for the Thunder. And Paul with the bucket and a 6-point lead. Here's Paul. And they're feeling it right now.
Speaking of groups, Matt, if you're Nick Nurse, imagine having Beasley knocking one down.
Paul. Corner three. Chris Paul. Nerlens Noel tied at 83.
And
Paul.
Quick response.
Paul, pardon me, comes back and drills it. Paul, jumper good. He's got 21 points. 3-point lead. Paul.
Boy, he's having a game, isn't he? Chris Paul.
Paul, pressured, tries to turn the corner, can't.
Oh, what is that? What is that?
Call anything at a timeout. Driving kick. Shot clock down. In the air, banks it in. He's tough. 32. And the Thunder take it 98-97, and Nick Nurse letting the officials have it.
Ball in the paint. There's his first basket.
It's a tough team to defend. They have a lot of guys at that guard spot that can really score. Schroeder, Chris Paul, who was quiet, and of course Alexander.
9 points, 9 rebounds tonight for Cleveland. Gallinari again.
It's streaking now. I know about that yoga breathing. It helps in some situations, but not all of them.
He was trying.
He was trying everything.
Oklahoma City closing the gap. Sealing inside, turning and dunking. It's tied. 7 straight by the Thunder and a timeout. Schroeder's been the better of the two players tonight, but Paul, one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, that's his favorite shot, too.
Pulling in with the free throw line again. Chris Paul. Paul looks up with a shot clock. 7 seconds. 6 seconds on the clock. 2 minutes in the game. Oh! Paul a corner three. In the hands of Luka. Trying to beat the defense. He's in the paint. He shoots the runner.
Too little.
Big hit. Paul changes direction. Double clutches. Luka. 4-3 over Schroeder. Rainbow and way off. Paul has been sensational in the closing minutes of the game. And he hits again. 13 down the stretch for Chris Paul. It's Cleveland ready to shoot it. No good. Dallas has a chance at a rebound. Finney Smith to Luka to tie. No good. Rebound Thunder. Gilgeous-Alexander.
Billy Donovan. It'll be Terrence Ferguson along with Danilo Gallinari. The near 7-footer, Steven Adams in the middle. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, much improved player, and the future Hall of Famer Chris Paul.
Well, if you guys don't know who Bill Cartwright is, Google it, folks.
Bill Cartwright won some rings with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, played for a while with the New York Knicks. So Terrence Ferguson, he's a modest scorer. He averages 5 per game. Chris Paul, and how many times has he done that in his NBA career?
Clippers had a lot of talent, huh? Got Tobias from there.
And after all that, they still have a lot of talent.
Exactly, and he still got more talent.
You know, it's funny, I see Chris Paul doubling down on the big man, coming up with a steal. One of his assistant coaches, a guy who did that with alarming regularity, the Hall of Famer, the former 76er Maurice Cheeks.
Would sit in his lap when the ball goes into post. Look at this.
Paul, not a bad three-point shooter at 36%. Sixer defense coming to the fore here with the Thunder, turning it over 3 times and missing their only shot so far in the second. Well, out of the timeout, they set up Chris Paul to the leaping Hamidou Diallo. No surprise he can get up. He is the reigning NBA slam dunk champion. There is Adams leaking, and that's something that'll keep the coach up at night. When you make a bucket, to have the opposing center get a breakaway at the other end, you can't allow that.
Well, you just see right down Broad Street. I mean, he literally, this is from A to B. There is no curving of his route. There is no rounding off of his route. It is straight down, rim to rim.
Opportunity to get 2 for 1 for the Thunder as Adams missed inside. Here's Paul, he studies a 3, and down it goes. Chris Paul, his 3rd 3 of the first half, give him 9. Chris Paul with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the backcourt. Terrence Ferguson, Danilo Gallinari, the forwards, and Steven Adams in the middle. For Billy Donovan's Oklahoma City Thunder, they get another 3 here from Terrence Ferguson, who had one earlier to give him 6. Burke for a 3, did it again. Trey Burke, we mentioned, in limited action, an excellent 3-point shooter this year. He is 2 for 2, and the Sixers 10 of 19.
Again, end of shot clocks, what he brings to the table.
Paul into double figures with 11. He averages just over 16. Paul for 3. He can still play. He's going to be 35 in May, Chris Paul. In the meantime, Chris Paul moving the Thunder forward. Nicely done by Paul to the elevating Hamidou Diallo. One more for Richardson.
Keep everybody in front of you. Nothing behind. Don't reach.
Sixers holding 8. Paul for a rolling Adams, who slams for 2, a season-high 24 for Steven Adams. It's the Sixers' first win against OKC here since November 15th of 2008, when Thaddeus Young was your leading scorer, by the way.
Paul, the pull-up. Book it, a 3. Paul being shaded by Temple. Drive and kick. Schroeder for the lead. He's got it. A 3. Dinwiddie had it blocked by Adams. Paul sticks the 3. And a foul on Kurucs as well. Kick out. Baisley cans it from long range. Darius Baisley gives Oklahoma City a 4-point lead. 80-75. Paul the answer. Count it. Chris Paul, the deep ball. Kick. Return feed. Paul over his former teammate in LA, DeAndre Jordan. Paul, shake and bake, pull up is pure. High screen, Adams, Paul, he nails it, dead solid, perfect. Paul shifts gears. Paul, step back Jay, we're tied. Dinwiddie, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Dinwiddie puts it up, bank shot, no! Overtime in Brooklyn. Adams hands it to Paul. Paul fades, connects. High screen, Adams, Paul crosses. Paul buries it. Chris Paul extends the Thunder lead. Chris Paul, 20 points in the 4th quarter and overtime to finish with 28.
shot. And Ferguson was off, but it kept it up. Here's Paul for three. Yes! Well, Russell Westbrook shooting only 23% from downtown for the season, able to hit. And there's Chris Paul, his second three of the game. Russell Westbrook spent 11 seasons with Oklahoma City, 8-time All-Star. And once again, it is shooting. Hitting from downtown. The alley-oop, and it's Adams putting it down. Paul gets the rim. Here comes Paul, Harden back. Paul pulls it up for three. Yes! Paul. He is the master of the mid-range game. Paul showing some magic in handling the basketball. There's Paul over Diallo, and he stuffs. Oh, Paul again pulls off his magic.
Oh, the left hand nutmeg. And what you like about it, in the words of Shaq, he said, listen, are you not entertained?
So the Thunder in the number 7 spot, just a game and a half behind 6th place Dallas.
Two teams without some starters as Paul got to the nail at the free throw line, and his first jumper drops in.
As CP lines up a 3-ball, he's going to get it. You like the quick strike offense.
One of the things that Billy Donovan talked about before the games, wanting his Thunder team to be more forceful. As Paul gets it back for the fresh dribble. Made one from there just a couple of moments ago and makes it 2 in a row from downtown on the smooth stroke. The Thunder can add to its lead. There's SG Hayes. He sidesteps Simons. What a move. You can't slow him down when he's got a crease near the rim. How about Burton from the wing? Carves up some space and then throws it down with the left hand. Ball breaks down the defense, got to the rim and takes the bump and still scores. All again, and this time lobs it up for Noel on the high hard one. They fall back, and Paul takes advantage of the space with the mid-range. Paul wants a 2-for-1 straightaway three, knocks it down. Paul high arcing shot over the outstretched arm of the rookie Little, and Paul right behind Lillard now with 23. Now sets the screen and rolls to the bucket, but it's Paul finishing it off on a floating off-balance shot. Paul still dribbling in the corner. Got it right back, open shot, and almost automatic for Chris Paul. Paul got double teamed momentarily. Series of moves, used that crossover, got inside, and he's got 30 on the night. Can he get 32? Nope, wants to give it up. Burton, nice finish. Thunder get the turnover with numbers. Paul sets it up, and Noel caps it off. The Thunder will earn win number 24 on the season.
Live from Toyota Center in downtown Houston, AT&T Sportsnet proudly presents Houston Rockets basketball. And today, Russell Westbrook leads the Rockets against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Russell Westbrook will work on Alexander, takes it up, missed it, Capella cleans it up.
Scala had to come over and help on the drive, and that meant nobody could box out Capella.
Chris Paul with a three.
Chris had 21 of his 30 points in the first half against Portland on Saturday. Russell, jump shot, got it. Russell Westbrook has hit 3 of his first 4 shots for 6 points to lead the Rockets. OKC up by 3, make it 5. Chris Paul.
That little mid-range jumper was well guarded. Gallinari's 6'10", so it's hard to shoot over.
Well, a layup drill for Chris Paul. Cephalosha. Chris Paul can hit that one about 90%.
That's like a layup for him, that little mid-range elbow jump.
Right now for the Rockets, consistency is what they need. We've seen too many breakdowns. You go back to that Lakers game in that third quarter. They played a really solid first half, but couldn't find themselves in the third quarter. If they can consistently put together 48 minutes, something might get going for them.
But Westbrook with 12 points tonight, and over the last since December 7th, he ranks for 3rd in the NBA. Here's Chris Paul again, tying it up at 32. Three-pointer, make it maybe a 4. And that's going to be a steal by Chris Paul. That's the second time he's stolen the ball on the inbounds pass, and then he makes a fall-away 3. He's still great. Going to shoot it over Capella.
Chris is on fire here tonight. He knows it.
Gallinari walked all over the place. They didn't call it. And here comes Russell, and he lost the basketball. Chris Paul sets up Schroeder, and he waited too long. House got there. Now he shoots it, and he made it anyway. I guess he just wanted somebody to guard it.
Yeah.
Good pass inside, and the basket is good by Darius Baisley. Manuel House. He looked in rhythm. Even with that miss, he looked in better rhythm.
Yeah, and that ball hit the inside of the rim, so he just missed it.
Schroeder to the basket for 2. House misses. Schroeder had 15 points in this quarter, and Gallinari had 12.
Welcome to downtown Orlando NBA basketball tonight from the Amway Center as the Magic back in town after a 6-game road trip. Tonight, it's Orlando and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now Paul, picked up by Vucevic, lobs it to Noel for the dunk. Vucevic, left-handed shot, comes up short. Noel defending him well. Chris Paul, nifty move to the paint, puts it in, and a foul. The foul on Fultz. That'll put Paul at the line.
Foul number 20.
Paul lobs it to Noel.
That's Noel's game.
Markelle Fultz, guarded by Chris Paul. Takes him into the paint, but missed the shot short. Paul has the rebound. Paul backed away, and Paul knocked down a jumper. Vucevic for 3. 7 seconds on the clock. Chris Paul lobs it, thrown down by Noel. Chris Paul. Vucevic is there. Paul backs it out. Shot clock is at 5. He makes the shot over Vucevic. Man, Chris Paul, what a year he is having. He's played in every game, 32 minutes per game. Paul again. Another mid-range jumper for Chris Paul. Paul turns the corner and lobs it perfectly for Noel. What is that, 5 lobs now to Noel?
At least, yeah.
Paul turns the corner. Paul takes it in and lays it in. We've just got to take advantage of those opportunities. Chris Paul too good, and Oklahoma City wins it 120 to 114.
And for Oklahoma City, one of the great surprises is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He opens at small forward, having a whale of a year. He leads the ball club in scoring. He's joined by Gallinari, Nerlens Noel, Luguentz Dort, the rookie out of Arizona State, and the veteran Chris Paul. Hunter draws the defensive assignment. Chris Paul in the corner. And Now the cut. Dort just bullies his way right to the basket. 6'3", 215-pound rookie.
Hawks running a lot of high screen and roll. There's Chris Paul on the steal.
Oh, Deacon on Deacon thievery. Chris Paul defending. Trey dribbles through. Little bit of daylight. Now he switched down against the big. Back to the corner, and Collins rips out a three.
Good looking shot. Good pass. Good offense there.
CP3 dumps it inside for Nerlens Noel jam and a timeout for Lloyd Pierce. Backdoor cutting and a dunk for SGA.
But you talked about Cam Reddish a second ago, how aggressive he's been, and that's what they want from him.
Schroeder adjusts the sights and puts it in, averaging 18.6 off the Thunder bench. Reddish defending Chris Paul. Waits for the screen and politely drops in the jump shot.
He's one of the best mid-range shooters in the game today.
CP3 with 2 seconds. Fires and hits the three at the buzzer. Diallo tried to slip that screen, then the pass taken away by the Hawks. Teague in the middle, behind the back for a pull-up for Goodwin.
Goodwin, I thought a little bit quick on that shot, but the right offense. Good pass by Jeff.
CP3 with that beautiful stroke. Teague chasing Schroeder. Former teammates head-to-head. Look at Cam get back to help out underneath. Now a loose ball. Tap to the wing. Chris picks it up and misses it. Gets it back and hits this one.
Hawks might have a little luck there. Hawks did a good job defensively, but the ball didn't bounce their way. There's Chris Paul with that nice mid-range.
Chris Paul to the corner. Baisley puts it on the deck, jumps in, gets to right to the rim. Man,
he has one of the...
got some talent. But Nick, the Hawks have got to get some stops.
Too many easy buckets for the Thunder. And so all Chris Paul doing is milking the clock.
Side step, fires, hits. Three-pointer for CP3. Collins. Baisley the rebound. Playing when he gets in 17 minutes a night. Averages 4 points a game. Oh, boy.
Well, you can't allow that. You're not going to get back in the game that way.
Now the Thunder will dribble out the final seconds, and they lay claim to a 140 to 111 win here tonight in Oklahoma.
The Timberwolves did fall short against the Rockets last night here at Target Center, but there was a lot to like about the effort. A similar performance against the Thunder tonight could yield a different result, as OKC also played just last night, and the Thunder are undermanned with 5 players unavailable tonight. Luguentz Dort, the starting player tonight for the Thunder, that is not a household name for Billy Donovan's team. He did play in the first meeting between these two, 7 minutes in the game in Oklahoma City. Out of Arizona State University, and Jim, a pretty
Canadian
good defender. Gilgeous Alexander able to get the first points of the game. Towns, meantime, hits another triple.
He just spaced out that time on the baseline of a bounce play. No one picked him up.
He's got all 12 of the Timberwolves points. Muscala, he had 4 threes in the win last night over Atlanta, which was a career high for him in a single game. Gets his first tonight. Covington in rhythm, but there's a block by Gilgeous Alexander, and here come the Thunder. And Chris Paul pulls the trigger. It's back to a 4-point game. Adams had it poked away and then forced it up. But the Thunder able to get a second chance. Schroeder wide open off the feed from Chris Paul.
Other guys need to get involved, though. I mean, it's all fine and good, but you know, this Minnesota needs productivity from everybody, and their bench has been faltering a little bit here, not been quite as productive. Chris Paul knocking down that mid-range jumper. But that's the thing about Chris Paul. He's always been about winning, and some guys are with him and some guys aren't. He does not suffer fools. He is one of the most competitive guys that have ever played this game.
Diallo able to get it to go, and the Thunder have opened up a 10-point lead. Burton, He banks it in. He wasn't calling bank either. Gets the after-hours deposit. Paul gets the screen from Adams. Back for Schroeder, open look for a 3.
All orchestrated by Chris Paul there. but just surgical that time. Working pick and roll game with Steven Adams.
See if the Timberwolves try to get a quick shot. They do. McLaughlin and the Wolves get it.
How good is he late quarter? He did the same thing in Chicago.
Chris Paul. Okogie falls to the floor, and Paul able to drill the mid-range.
CP's like right back at you.
And there's still enough that the shot clock is going to be on. Chris Paul and one to open up the third quarter for OKC. Paisley. Thunder have had an answer every time the Timberwolves have come knocking on the door. Paul.
He just rises up, doesn't he? I mean, at that elbow area, he just rises up, and you just always think it's money.
Chris Paul.
He's always in the ear of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's. Towns, what a great move down the lane. Chris Paul is always in the ear of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, teaching him how to win at this level.
Dort. Oh my goodness, Luguentz Dort. He's had himself a third quarter, a couple of threes in that dunk. Schroeder off the baseline out of bounds play. Pushes it back to a 9-point game. Paul gets the screen from Muscala and the reach-in foul against Towns.
Carl did that time to kind of swipe down.
Chris Paul. Diallo for Chris Paul. Muscala ends up with a three, right as the shot clock was expiring. Paul with the shot clock down to 5.
Steven Adams is a big man to have to take on in a switching situation if you're Covington, and for Towns to try to contain that little dude. And Chris Paul saying he hit my hand again.
Paul gets the screen from Muscala and then gets into the paint. And that's going to close it out. 113-104 the final. Chris Paul and Karl Anthony Towns were both excellent individually, but Chris Paul's team, the better one on this night.
So Steven Adams, DeAndre Ayton at center court, and we are underway here on this Friday night in Phoenix. Shot clock under 5. Gallo again, same spot. This time he's got it. Over the outstretched arm of Devin Booker, and Gallinari, who missed his first 3, never deterred.
The games were in black and white. All the games were on tape delay.
The games were on tape delay.
You know, the national broadcast.
70s.
Yeah, on a Friday night. I used to wait for him to come on.
Chris Paul's got his first shot of the night. He had missed his first 5. Him and Schroeder were combined 0 for 10. But all of a sudden, they've got 6 quick ones to bring the Thunder back to within 2. And Dennis Schroeder starting to find his offense here in this second quarter, as he's got 9 quick ones off the bench. The Thunder did not have any bench scoring in the first quarter. Pass inside Noel, left hand on Bridges, as Chris Paul drew out DeAndre Ayton. Knicks has played tough defense against Oklahoma City. Gallinari in the post, spins, left hand, nice score. Danilo Gallinari just took advantage of Oubre in the lane. SGA tried to sling it down to Noel. Squirts out to Paul. Shot clock didn't reset. Schroeder steps into the 3 straight away. It's right down the pipe. You talked about hustle. The Thunder stayed with that possession and now have the lead. The numbers are pretty obvious, Mike. The Thunder are 16 out of 28 on shots in the paint and 4 out of 19 on threes. Paul got to the mid-range, and Chris Paul, who was 1 for 6 in the first half, that's got to feel good for him, as he's got 5. Very quiet offensive game.
Chris Paul has all day to line up this three-point ball. And I tell you, head coach Monty Williams does not like that. And once again, Chris Paul
showing his all-star ways after starting 0 for 5. He's 4 for his last 5. And that one gives the Thunder the lead. A lot of traffic out on the perimeter. 3 Thunder players right there on the wing. Paul has had a hot hand, and he still's got a hot hand.
Wow.
Great shot by Chris Paul, picking up his offense. Bridges, no way he was going to get by Gallinari. Now he sets himself for that 3, way off. And now Gallinari leaks out. Got one flyby, goes up and hangs and scores. Counted in the foul for Danilo Gallinari. Ayton's pass got picked off by Paul. Great read on defense. Now surveying the floor, lobs it up, and Nerlens Noel with the high hard one throws it down.
And that's the timing of that play when the Thunder run that pick and roll. It's when you least expect it. That high pick and roll and lob to Nerlens.
Well, Chris Paul has a career high in twos this year at 55%, and it's on plays like that.
It's a nice little play there. That's the one we talked about in the first half. See, you fall asleep? Look what happens.
Where was that scouting report you were talking about?
Yeah, it was only good for the first half.
Jerome in transition with that floater, despite the pressure from Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder catch fire three. That is good. And a much-needed triple for the Thunder. Thunder needs some offense here. Paul dumps it down, and Adams with the hard slam and a much-needed bucket for Oklahoma City. Tie game at 99. Oubre had his pocket picked by Paul. Paul knocks it over to Gallinari. There's a reason he is the 6-time Stls champion and headed to his 10th All-Star game. Paul with the basketball in his hands. Matched up on DeAndre Ayton for the lead, and he got the bounce. The friendly hop for Chris Paul, who has a career high in two-point field goal percentage on the season, and he's got another go-ahead bucket. Oubre lets it go as you hear the final buzzer as the Thunder come back late in the fourth quarter. And this one's got to feel good. Wrapping up a tough stretch of games, 17 in the month of January.
Well, how different is this Pistons team? And obviously this is going to be the first look without Andre Drummond, but without him, a team that has really relied on his presence, particularly in points in the paint, this Pistons team has to adjust immediately.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's Steven Adams this time going up and getting the alley-oop off the feed from Paul. And it's head coach Billy Donovan in tonight's OU Medicine Coach's Corner, and clearly giving kind of a general overview of why this Thunder team has had some success of late, why this Thunder team, Michael, is 11 games over 500, 51 games into this season as CP gets into the scoring action.
Well, that's going to be an issue for the Pistons, is can they score? Oh, look at this here. Talk about scoring.
See if Adams goes to his move here. Little hook shot in the lane, and trying to stay with it. Grabs the offensive rebound.
Amazing. Just using his size and his length, and look what it leads to.
Steven Adams doing a little bit of everything for the Thunder. That offensive rebound leads to that three from Chris Paul. Thunder have certainly defended the three. Gallinari passed it up there. Instead wants to drive. Fades. And the sweet stroke.
As Wood is left open,
he was able to make one in the first half.
Gallinari sets fires. That's good from downtown off the pass from Chris Paul.
As Paul gets to his spot in the mid-range. Very selective when he starts to initiate his own shot. As Paul, his maker, just kind of hung back defensively. Board falls. Jackson, instead of attacking or taking the shot, just gave it up to Snell, who continues to lay bricks from the outside. Now Gallo sets fires, and he's got an open three as he knocks it down.
And that time, Christian Wood, he fell asleep.
Detroit staying in it with some timely shots there. Paul again knew it was going to be short, got his own miss, puts it back up and in. You could see as soon as he released that first shot that he needed to do some work to get the ball back. They're trying to break free from Galloway. High arcing shot that time. CP taps it back out of the fresh 14 for the Thunder. Another extra effort play by Oklahoma City. Adams caught amongst the skyscrapers. Left hand floats it up as he lowered the shoulder to carve out some space.
That's right, and that's just what he did.
The speed from Schroeder on the baseline. Nobody can slow him down.
Well, this Detroit team, even with
the flurry of moves, not quite out of it in the Eastern Conference as Paul
Boy, just so sweet, so smooth with that stroke, even with Snell guarding him. What a move by Paul to shed Galloway. And in the mid-range, another clutch shot for Chris Paul. A theme of this 2020 season. Thunder will be riding a 4-game winning streak thanks to the victory here tonight over the Detroit Pistons, taking the first of 2 of these 2 squads.
Chesapeake Energy Arena here on a Sunday afternoon. The Celtics getting set to take on the Thunder, led by Chris Paul. He's back in the All-Star game after being gone for 4 years. He'll, of course, see Tatum there. He's playing great. We'll talk about that in a minute. And the Stash Brothers get reunited. All that coming up next. As I mentioned earlier, the Thunder fans stay on their feet until they score their first basket. And now they can sit down.
Hey, that's a tough shot by Chris Paul, but good job by Jason Tatum pursuing the basketball. Chris Paul's the one guy they're not going to want to switch off of.
Paul gives up the dribble. Gallinari again, this time baseline for 2.
Celtics have been switching that with Gallinari and Chris Paul. And they're going to continue to milk that matchup, so we'll see if they make an adjustment.
Kept alive, and Paul drives the lane, throws it up.
Chris Paul has seen that particular play probably a million times.
Tatum unable to answer. Paul gets the long rebound, sells it back defensively. Baisley is really having a hard time running up and down the court. Paul really has that ball on a string when he gets going, knocks it down.
He's so good at snaking through the defense, going away, knowing how much space he needs to get that shot off.
Want to make it as an open jumper. Noel there for the miss. Quickly to Paul. Paul, nice move with the dribble, takes it to the basket, gets 2.
That's just scouting report. You know, like Romeo Langford has never been on the floor and saw Chris Paul coming at him. It's something you just have to get used to.
Paul kicks it back out. Gallinari all day long. Walker gets a little opening. Can't hit the 3. Oh, good offensive board by Hayward. Kicks it back out to Tatum. Top of the key. Tice will try. Again, Hayward in the right spot for the rebound. Finds Walker, fakes it, kicks it to the corner. Brown takes it. Adams with the one-handed rebound. Gallinari actually ended up with the ball.
I like the energy that the Celtics are playing with. Ooh, he is so tough. Ooh, he's tough.
Paul, nice pass. Diallo gets 2.
Grant just lost his man, but one thing to check here, 2-for-1 opportunity for the Celtics. Hey, I'll get into some advanced analytics about the Thunder in this 4th quarter, but Chris Paul starts it off with a pull-up jump shot.
Paul, pull-up, 2.
I feel like that's like a layup for Chris Paul.
Without question. 5-point game. 26 on the afternoon for Kemba Walker. Paul. Looks like he's going to take it to the basket, get the easy 2. Does with 16.8, and Brad Stevens flying out onto the court to get the timeout. Now, as you and I were talking about during the break, all the Celtics have to do is not foul somebody shooting a 3.
Just watch out for Chris Paul and plays like this.
Brad's voice, he makes it, but I don't know if did he get it off?
He got it off. Yeah. It's going to count, but that's going to be a 1-point win for
absolutely.
the Celtics.
112-111 the final score.
Chris Paul trying to get things going here for the Thunder as he will pull up into the mid-range. Having a career year in shooting 2s. Gallinari got the flyby by Walker. Paul wide open, splashes home that 3. Gallinari catch fire straight away. What a stroke. Danilo Gallinari making his presence felt here on the last couple of made shots. Paul gives the Thunder a much-needed bucket as he finds some open space at the elbow. Ferguson passes up the 3, back outside, sets it up for Chris Paul, who knocks it down. Chris Paul into double digits. Paul left it back. Muscala lets it go, and he's got a 3. He buries a much-needed triple for the Thunder, back-to-back 3s. And now it's Dennis Schroeder's turn as the Thunder starting to get hot from three-point land here in this second quarter. 3 in a row. And that long miss squirts out to Paul. Paul leaves it up, and Nader's able to score on the fast break as the Thunder continue to cut into that San Antonio lead. Paul around the screen. Boy, that is just so smooth, almost automatic. Chris Paul now with 12 on the night. Shot clock now at 5. Paul gives it back up, and Adams floats it up and in. Nice play there on the inbounds with the shot clock at 8. Paul might want a 2-for-1, and he's got the one at least on that 3. So Chris Paul having himself an offensive first half. Almost a steal there as Paul knocks it away. Aldridge a heave well behind the three-point line. Nice play out of the inbounds as Dort sneaks in right at the rim and lays it up and in.
And CP3 wants that basketball real quickly from the official. You see what?
Ball trying to turn the corner. Went into the body and banks it home off the glass.
He did a good job of just clearing space from DeJounte Murray.
As Paul, so nifty, just always seems to get to where he wants to on the floor. See what Paul does here. He'll take the 3 with Aldridge right in his grill, and Chris Paul connects from downtown. Chris Paul got the bounce. Still an 8-point game with 1:25 to go. Down to 6. Another 3 by Chris Paul. Paul wants a clear out. Veers his way to the rim, brings it up and in with 14.8. San Antonio ends its 5-game losing streak, and the Thunder finish out this homestand 2-2.
Welcome to NBA Friday, presented by State Farm. It is indeed one of those wild, Wild West matchups tonight with the Nuggets and the Thunder. As we take a look at the starting lineups for the Denver Nuggets, they get Will Barton back in the starting lineup. He was a game-time decision for the Thunder. Lou Dort, two-way rookie, remains in their starting 5. Adams, little push shot, rolls in. Oklahoma City had missed its last 5 shots. Grant lines it up, can't square it in. Ferguson just flew in for the rebound. Here comes Paul, pushing pace, niftily into the paint, and flips it in.
Tough shot. Felt like they had advantage, so he presses the issue and gets them 2.
Paul settling things down. Chris Paul directing traffic. 2-for-1 opportunity here for the Thunder. Paul, he got it on a 3. Here's Paul with 4 seconds left. Paul on the drive, got hit and banks it in! Wizardry from CP3.
So prior possession, he walks up into a 3 because he knows it's a 2-for-1, and then he waved Danilo Gallinari down and said, I've got the matchup I want. Gets Paul Millsap reacting to the cross, then the between the legs. Come on, how good is that?
In my opinion, the most anticipated heavyweight boxing match since 2002, Lewis Tyson. And you know, that weight that you just showed on the screen, very significant. 231, heaviest that Deontay Wilder has ever been. 273, third heaviest of Fury's career. That tells me these guys are swinging for the fences. Fury believes that he has to get a knockout in order to win. It can't go the distance. I say it goes the distance. He wins 7 rounds to 5. It's going to be an all-time classic. I can't wait.
Wow, you think this goes the distance as Chris Paul gets another 3 in transition, comes back with a smile on his face.
Murray dances away and puts it in. Noel takes a tumble.
They do that passing, Murray and Jokic, sometimes without very much spacing, don't they, Ryan?
They do.
Man.
Meanwhile, that guy knows how to create the space.
Yes, he does.
Paul high, arcing, and rainbows it in. Paul jitters, takes, you bet, plus the foul. Chris Paul asserting himself in this third. Chance for 4, completed by Paul, who now has 20. 7-0 Denver run. The 730-point game this season from Jokic. And a big 3 from Chris Paul. Paul shakes Millsap beautifully, but couldn't finish. Now he can. Paul, the jumper is good.
In and out dribble. And if you notice, that's his patented move late. Get to the right hand, get between the free throw line and the baseline, and that little fadeaway jump shot.
Chris, congratulations on a great win. What a story you guys have become. You seem to be having a blast out there. Can you describe how much fun you're having with the squad?
Man, we're having a lot of fun on any given night. You know, you don't know who it's going to be. Everything is by committee. And we talked about the games after All-Star break. I talked about some of my past experience, and I'm just happy that we came out and beat this really good team.
Statistically, you're the most clutch player in the NBA this season. What goes on in your...
We play a lot of close games.
But what goes on in you last 5 minutes, fourth quarter? You seem to turn into a whole different player. You take it to an extra drive.
You know, just the will to win. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, some of the best players, that's the part that gets your blood going. You know what I mean? I get excited in them situations. I want the ball always. And thankfully, you know, my teammates, they support me in that.
You've only missed 1 game this season. Last time you played 80 or more games in a regular season was 5 years ago. What's been the difference to keep you on the court this season?
Training, a lot of hard work. So big shout out to my own team, and then a big shout out to the Thunder. They've been amazing and just cultivating us and making sure that everything goes right. So, and God, man, you know what I mean? It's a blessing when you get a chance to go out and hoop every night. This is my happy place, so whatever I got to do to hoop, I'm going to do.
And that plant-based diet too, right?
Don't tell nobody about that.
All right, it's between us, Chris. Thanks so much, guys. Back to you.
Basketball is presented by Xfinity. Tonight at the United Center, Game 4 of a 4-game homestand. The Bulls looking to win 2 in a row as they welcome in Chris Paul and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Chris Paul, red pass, just pounds it down, and Chris Paul has turned back the clock. That was as Paul goes to work on Satoransky. That jumper's good by Gallinari, and he is red hot. Levine against Dort, puts on the brakes, and the fadeaway is in and out, no good.
Dort's a really interesting story. I mean,
two-way player.
Yeah. And has played himself into a contract.
Gallinari, corner, good again. Gallinari is 5 for 5 from 3.
Well, it's his first time in his career that he's made 5 trays in a quarter.
Got it to go on a quick one. And here comes Kobe. Almost got by Paul, who's a really good defender. When he buckles down, there aren't many better than he is.
Always been one of the really solid defenders in the point guard position in the league.
In the lane, bounces inside to Adams. See, he had a little shot. Said, you know what? I'll set up my big fella. Here's Sato spinning in, missing. And the rebound, Chris Paul. He can play fast when he wants, but generally just going at his own pace. He finds Nader and a 3-point field goal. That's set up by Chris Paul. Kobe White dancing. Turns. Got a shot up and good. Acrobatic move there.
Wow, what a move.
Right in front of his mentor, Chris Paul. Paul, fade away. That's good. And
Art of the mid-range jump shot.
Right at Shaq Harrison's face.
And it's the Zach and Kobe show. And the only 2 guys right now in double figures for the Bulls.
Drive, and Chris Paul answers right back. Pass to Zach. Oh, he whipped one down with a reverse.
Playing above the rim. Zach LaVine.
Chris Paul, he's right on in. The jumper is good.
Part of the mid-range jump shot.
Paul punches to the corner to Dort. Back out to Paul. Fakes, drives, right on in, and the layup's good.
Oh, I tell you what. He's one of the pound-for-pound toughest guys in the league.
Schroeder from outside. That's good, and that'll quiet the crowd. Chris Paul. And Adams play catch. Paul against Shaq Harrison. Nothing but net.
Mid-range game. Deadly.
Zach fires one. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, sometimes I dream. Me.
That was just Zach saying, here, I'll give you a play. Zach 2 dribbles and buried it.
Zach just took over that third quarter.
There's a jumper good by
19 in the quarter.
Real talk for Zach LaVine. Chris Paul, back out. Schroeder steps inside the three-point line. Paul on the post against Kobe. Hooks it off. Adams goes up and scores.
That was a nice play by Chris Paul.
Big stop here. And this possession for the Bulls as Paul goes to work. Circling. Picked up by Gafford. Now sizes him up. Drives by him. Got a shot up and good. A line drive runner by Chris Paul.
You know, that's not Daniel Gafford's fault. Someone's got to talk to him and let him know where the help is.
Satoransky, look, got it in. Zach circles, slips, fires, nope. Ball game over. 124-122. Oklahoma City hangs on. The Bulls made a furious run in the second half.
It'll be Giles and Adams at center court going toe-to-toe, and away we go. Here in downtown Oklahoma City. Thank you for being with us. With Michael Cage, I'm Chris Fisher.
I think that's the toughest thing to do for officials, to throw the ball up. And this is almost a repeat of the start of the game the other night in Chicago. You pay too much attention, perimeter attention to CP3. He's going to find one of his friends.
There is Barnes, his first 3, well off. He's been shooting it extremely well from the outside, but nobody's been shooting it better than Gallinari, who's got his second one of the night from downtown. Paul, nice ball fake, slips it right back. Nerlens Noel hangs in the air long enough and finishes with the left hand.
Nice clever finish, just to avoid trying to possibly taking a charge.
Paul in the mid-range. Such a smooth-looking shot. All around a series of screens, trying to swing it back outside. Schroeder aims, fires, and hits the 3. Boy, he had all day to take that one, and it was all started by the drive of Chris Paul. Dort, hard drive, hangs in the air. How about the left hand from Lou Dort? Billy Donovan's going to call on his bench here with Hamidou Diallo coming out on the floor. First time here tonight. Nerlens Noel also back into the game. Paul steps back, tough shot, that is good. Paul again, steps back, and another much needed bucket for the Thunder. Paul surveying, and what a tough shot. Well, he kind of fell asleep on him there for a moment.
Yeah, he lulled everybody to sleep there on that play.
Sacramento back on top. Under 5 minutes to go. Gallo off the feed, lines it up and knocks it down from three-point land. And the Thunder go back on top. Ball around the screen of Adams. Just waiting for something to open up inside that Sacramento defense. Instead, he'll take the 3, got fouled! A possible 4-point play coming up for CP as the assault waves continue for the Thunder here in this second half. Ball with space, slips it right back to Adams, who smashes the rim. Certainly helps to have a future Hall of Famer handling the basketball. Patiently trying to break down Sacramento's defense like he does right there. Off the dribble, going
sideline to sideline. It's Paul with the scoop and score. What a player, showcasing why he is a future Hall of Famer yet again for this Thunder team late in the fourth quarter. As the Thunder will not get fouled, as Paul will run out this clock. And what a comeback it was for the Thunder, added to the list of impressive comeback victories on the season.
Welcome to NBA Friday, presented by State Farm. At Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They have been jumping for joy about their Bucks all season long. 50-8, best record in the NBA. Meanwhile, the Oklahoma City Thunder have surprised plenty of people. 37-22, currently the 5 seed in the Western Conference. They are riding a 9-game road winning streak. As Steven Adams bangs it in. Here's Paul, flipping it up and in, plus the foul. Savvy move from Chris Paul.
It's interesting. If you're Oklahoma City, obviously no Gallinari, so you lose your most prolific three-point shooter and a guy with size. And if you're Billy Donovan, you've essentially said, all right, we have to do what Toronto did, right, which is try to control the paint to as much as we possibly can, and we can't foul. So you're going to give up some threes at points tonight to Milwaukee probably, but those two things you're thinking of defensively.
Paul, pretty touch.
When they need a basket, that's the guy who seems to deliver.
Only 2 players have ever won an MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. Michael Jordan in 87-88, and Hakeem Olajuwon in 93-94. And Giannis has a legitimate shot to join them this season.
25-2 is the run.
It's a marathon. Adams able to fit that in. Paul elevating and hitting.
I think one thing you know about Chris Paul, like no team that has him is going to be allowed to tank because he won't let you tank, and no team's going to quit.
Timeout on the floor. It's a 23-point Milwaukee lead.
Marvin Williams gives you big, physical, strong defender, but also allows some versatility. So it's an interesting pickup for them.
And already he has made an impact. Giannis tried the no-look, deflected. Here comes Paul. Paul left alone, cans the 3. Schroeder hits the jumper. An authoritative stomping from the NBA's best Milwaukee Bucks. 133-86 the final.
And we are ready to roll. Sean Corbin, the veteran official, will make the throw. Opening tip, won by the Thunder. There's one of the great ticket away from you guards ever, Chris Paul, with the slick pick. Chris Paul to the basket. Classic drive and deuce. It's 7-3 OKC.
You can tell that Gilgeous-Alexander is learning a lot from Chris Paul, because that kind of looked like Chris Paul a moment ago, didn't it?
Yeah, but they're buddies. Spent a lot of time together. Chris Paul's family's back in LA, so you could have only imagined all the stuff that Gilgeous-Alexander will soak in from that man, Chris Paul, like a sponge.
Yeah.
A half a dozen for Chris Paul. They get a bounce, tried to hand it off to Henson. Picked off by Paul. Always there when you don't want him to be, if you're the offensive guy. From the corner, Dort delivered. Pocket pick. Nerlens Noel, who's just checked in the middle, got the steal. Chris Paul for 3, and it's through. Well, he knew it when he let it go, didn't he?
It's amazing.
24-24 for 4, for 9 for Chris Paul. Look at Chris Paul blow by everybody and lay it in. Dennis Schroeder and Chris Paul now in the backcourt for the Thunder. Chris Paul gets himself a shot and sticks it. A step behind the foul line, 13 for Paul. Chris Paul's pass dropped inside beautifully to Noel, who laid it in. Gallinari with the drive. Double clutch on the dunk. for Gallinari. Brandon Knight's pass. Sideline for Svi, missed the three. Danilo Gallinari with the rebound. Chris Paul finds Ferguson with the basket. Lefty shot for a score, 69-62. Tony Snell. Triple try, in and out to Adams. Chris Paul weaves his way to the lane. Fade away, fills it up. 98-84. Tony Snell finds Svi, the long gun. Off the rim. Gallinari boards it. Chris Paul to forecourt. Inside, and Nerlens Noel throws it down.
Nerlens Noel is always going to roll.
The Thunder with the ball in a 1-point lead. Paul knocks down Brandon Knight, no call. Gallinari from the wing for three, and it's through.
Hey, how many times have we seen it? In fact, we saw almost the exact same thing in Portland. And OKC will snap their 2-game losing streak, George, and move to 14 games now over 500 in a surprise season.
Tonight, it is Friday Night Knicks here on MSG as the Knicks plays host to Oklahoma City, presented by Chase, and the Garden lit up. As tonight is First Responders Night here at Madison Square Garden.
You mentioned Paul at the top of the show, how he makes guys around him better. He's shrewd and clever.
Paul finds Adams for the slam.
That's what he does. He averages 6 assists to go with his 17 points.
Gilgeous-Alexander driving baseline with the 2 personal fouls. Here's Paul, shot clock down to 2 as Paul fires and hits from 3.
Normally not his forte. We featured him shooting the mid-range jumpers, but he's a 36% shooter from behind the arc as well. Old school basketball. Paul likes to pick and roll. This time one-on-one.
Puts up another 3 and knocks it down. Second 3-point field goal for Chris Paul.
Paul averages 17 a game, shooting in rhythm now.
And Mitchell Robinson is in the game for the Knicks.
Mitch missed the previous game, Kitty. So Knicks are happy to have him back. This is rebounding and energy out there.
Julius Randle puts the Knicks back on top. And now at the other end, it's Dort. Knicks trail by 5. Shot clock has been turned off.
That's what Paul does. Trying to draw the foul there.
Here's Paul over Robinson. He hits.
And the coach prudence paid off. Paul comes right in and gets the deuce.
Knicks again pulled to within 5 as Paul directs traffic, guarded by Ntilikina.
Old school basketball with Paul. Pick and roll.
Corner 3, Diallo knocks it down.
Unorthodox jumper by Diallo right in front of their Curry made a return last night. Prolific return, so he should be playing in that game.
He scrimmaged with the Warriors G League team the other day as Paul knocks it down.
Paul spinning and winning 12 feet away.
Chris Paul, nice touch.
Paul just been a lethal shooter.
Gallinari from 3.
And that's something the Knicks have not done, folks. The most glaring stat, the Knicks 0 of 8 from behind the arc.
Here's Paul from 3.
He's 3 for 3 from behind the arc. Normally not his forte, the 3-ball.
Chris Paul came over to pay his respects to Klein at halftime. The alley-oop from Paul to Noel.
Yep, working to perfection. Paul dancing.
Thunder with their biggest lead. Paul back out for a Gallinari 3. Barrett nails a 3.
Is that the first one of the evening?
It is.
Yeah.
Knicks have missed their first 9 attempts.
This man has not, though.
No. Gallinari with his 3rd 3.
Yeah, he's feasting from behind the arc. Oh.
Paul finding Noel. Knicks call timeout. Paul with 15 points, 8 assists tonight. Gallinari leading the way with 22 for OKC. On the runner, it's Schroeder, and he's now in double figures with 11.
Paul
Paul.
ISO.
Started by Trier, 5 on the shot clock.
Paul on ISO Zoe.
It is good, and the foul.
Giving Zoe some of his own medicine. So, isolating, devastating that time was Paul.
Here's Adams on the feed for Paul.
Everything working for OKC.
Here's Dotson. He has that blocked by Diallo.
Diallo not giving up on the play, doing a good job with the rejection. Schroeder looking to capitalize.
And he does from 3.
And they're just toying with the Knicks right now, folks.
Paul's pass was behind Adams, kept alive by Schroeder. Nader into the paint. 5 on the shot clock.
Yeah, good job by Trier.
Paul with a long 3. Thunder lead 110-83. Another slam by Diallo.
Diallo getting ready for the slam dunk contest.
So the Thunder come into Madison Square Garden and they defeat the Knicks 126-103. Chris Paul with 21 points, 12 assists. He was 4 of 6 from downtown.
It's now time for the moment we've been waiting for. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the Boston Celtics will throw it down to Mike Gorman and Tommy Heinsohn.
Better go get him. And that's just another good example of Chris Paul. He got stuck at 15, but he kept his poise and found Gallinari wide open. Paul finds a little room. That is really good in between games. That is such a tough shot. How about Adams to the hoop? Yeah, you see that? One guy went through. That was Gallinari. Didn't set the screen. Adams comes and sets the screen. That's all to create confusion, and he got a dunk out of it.
Paul again gets in the paint. Dort again is going to try a distant shot and knocks down a 3. Schroeder in the game comes up shooting again and knocks that one down. Noel kicks it back out to Schroeder, who wanted to go back to Paul. Now he does. Down to 9 on the shot clock.
That's a great pass.
Yeah.
He was looking right at us, and we're across the court, and he flipped it over to the corner. Paul.
Williams, pretty good job, and then a foul is called.
That's just the ball finding him being more aggressive. I don't know if he's forcing the issue or anything. I mean, he's forcing it more than he normally does, but he's still letting the game come to him.
Heck of a job by Tice. I don't care if that goes in. Tice stayed with Paul for a long time there. 5-point game, 48-43.
You cannot rattle Chris Paul.
Celtics should get a 2-point out of this where Paul comes up with a steal. That messes that up, and he goes in for 2. Celtics should get the ball back. We have about 6 seconds between the clocks. Gallinari open for 3, and he buries it.
That's what I said. When he knocks down one,
that's how we began the game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Paul gets an open look. Buries it.
That's like a layup for him.
Yeah, it sure is. Paul will take it.
Yeah, that's a tough shot. It's just good. Like Paul, I mean, his only flaws have been getting injured in the playoffs or not beating the Warriors. That's not an easy task.
Right. Has the ball in the middle on the break here. Watching Gallinari, throws it up himself.
It's a good timeout by Brad. Sure all the momentum is back with OKC.
Paul. That's the shot. That's the layup right there.
It is a layup for him.
Paul, that little pull up of his.
Going right, going left, it doesn't matter.
Williams again. Rebound taken down by Paul. Paul aware of the time, kicks it. Schroeder for 3. Bingo. It's a 1-point game after 3. Paul with the dribble, keeps it alive. Back and forth, he's got Tice on him. Tice not biting for any of it. Paul comes up and drills the shot. Tice was right in his grill.
That is a tough shot by a big-time player.
Tice to the basket. Good look by Hayward. Boston goes up one. Paul just taking the clock down. Now takes off towards the basket, sends it to Schroeder in the corner. Nice block by Tatum, saved by Smart. Up ahead, Tatum. Tatum to the basket. Down to 6 right now in the clock. Paul in the paint. Paul a runner. No, tipped. Out of bounds. Boston ball. All right, Smart will inbound. Oh, steal by Schroeder. Lays it in.
So Kemba tried to get away, and Schroeder pursued the ball. He had no idea he was there. I mean, that's just a great play by Schroeder.
Here we go. Into Tice. Tatum, 5 on the clock. Tatum back in his way. Tough turnaround. No. Loose. No basket. Ball game.
You know they weren't going to call that foul on Chris Paul. No way.
The Thunder once again pull out a game in the fourth quarter.
Welcome, everyone, to NBA Restart, presented by State Farm. 4 games today coming up on our menu. We've already seen one, Miami and Denver. This one featuring the Utah Jazz at 42-23, taking on the surprise of the year maybe in the NBA, the OKC Thunder. Gobert inside, missing with the left.
Good connection, though, between he and Mike Conley.
Chris Paul knocks down the jumper of 3. Paul over
Come on
the
now.
long arm of Rudy Gobert.
Make no mistake how difficult that shot is. Rudy is the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and he changes people's minds about entering that paint. But the master of the mid-range and the elite pick-and-roll play of Chris Paul, just so beautifully done.
Gallinari drills it for the Thunder, who lead by 11 with 4:08 to go in the first quarter. Chris Paul backs it out, working against Tony Bradley.
He's loving that matchup.
Like he was running a drill that time, Doris Burke.
Yeah, come on. If he's one-on-one, Chris Paul is the master at getting to any spot on the floor he wants. His handle and savvy and instincts are great.
And I saw him at the beginning of the season during a preseason game, and he was feeling great, and he still looks fantastic. A corner 3 is good by Diallo.
And he's dominating the game right now, Chris Paul. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Gets him early offense, quick look to the corner. Just understands tempo and pace and pushing it right there. Nice.
Adams with the pump fake and got the soft touch on the assist from Chris Paul.
Really, he's got excellent hands, and I've said it a number of times, just tremendous touch.
Chris Paul with a lot of sauce and the finish.
He just dances his defender right into the place he wants him to be to get the separation necessary.
Little 2-for-1 situation, Chris Paul. Made it look easy. Chris Paul and 1.
There's a reason this team has gone from 6-11 to having one of the best records in the league since after Thanksgiving. And it's the spearheading and leadership of this guy, their ability to close games, his intellect, his effect on his teammates. That's a big-time move. You know, we talk often about LeBron James, and rightly so, in terms of his ability to care for his body. What this guy has done, he spends as much money as LeBron. He's one of the first to have spent the kind of money into the 7 figures to take care of your body.
Chris Paul put a body on Conley. Boy, got all the way to the basket. Got it on the putback to hammer a point home. A couple of days ago, Donovan Mitchell wearing a bulletproof vest to the game, adorned with the names of black people who have been shot and killed by police who were unarmed. Breonna Taylor, Stephon Clark, Tamir Rice, Orlando Castillo among them. It was a big statement by Donovan Mitchell, who's been very engaged in this movement. Chris Paul really set the tempo early for the Thunder. Schroeder took the dribble handoff and got downhill.
Haven't been able to contain that dribble drive, whether it's Chris, Shea, or in that instance, Dennis Schroeder.
Corner jumper good by Gilgeous-Alexander, who got in a lot of quality workouts up in Toronto. Chris Paul with great anticipation in the steal. Clarkson on the baseline.
Got to make a final push here if you're the Utah Jazz. Find something on the offensive end. 67 points through 3 quarters.
Well, Chris Paul, man, just plays at his own pace, hits the mid-range elbow jump shot. Chris Paul now with 18 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds.
Under 40-24. They're 5th in the West. They're tied record-wise with the Rockets, but they have the tiebreaker. They've beaten the Rockets 2 out of the 3. Long range, that's good. You saw Billy Donovan just named co-coach of the year in the NBA with Mike Budenholzer as Chris Paul scores his first basket. 8-0 and 12-2 in the last 3 minutes plus as the Thunder answers back. So Chris Paul gets his 4th point. Bol connects. That's his first made three-pointer in the NBA for the youngster as OKC answers back. Look at this. Bol guarding Chris Paul. And he rattles it home.
I tell you what, he has made 2 jumpers over Bol, and I don't know many guys other than Chris Paul that might have the courage to do that.
Gallinari, they got out late, and he knocks in another one.
And they're putting the backside the better shooters. They've had that shot open a handful of times.
Good court advantage as Chris Paul floats it up and in, and OKC has the lead. Nicola swiping at it. Now Chris Paul wide open. He really improved his three-point shooting when he was with the Houston Rockets. They asked him to take a bunch, and now he's a darned good three-point shooter. 4 of the last 6 shots for the Thunder have been threes. Now 5 out of 7 as Gallinari lights it up.
And you see that high pick and roll, and Porter slides down to give help to Morris, and it's just nearly impossible to get back.
Adams. And Adams drops it in.
Adams.
Chris Paul doing what he does.
He's got as good a touch on that little baseline fadeaway as anybody I've seen.
Now Chris Paul.
There he goes.
Adams had some space. Boy, it looked like there were 3 Denver players in the vicinity, and he still found enough daylight to get that shot off and bank it in. Another tight game. The Thunder was so accustomed to playing these close matchups during the regular season. Chris Paul fighting through traffic. Try to send it back outside. Gets it wide open in the corner. Spots up for 3. And he drills it from downtown. Another triple for the Thunder. This one the latest from Chris Paul. Adams hands it right back off to SGA. Does he get the shot off? He does. Counting in the foul. Jokic trying to go to work, get a quick bucket and a reach-in foul. Jokic goes 2 for 2 at the line. All around a series of screens. Not a lot of space to work with the shot clock now at 5. Matched up on Millsap. Crosses up. Hangs, floats. Shot is off. And the rebound to Craig, and the Thunder with the slimmest of leads. Here is Morris to the rim, and he lays it up and in. Gallinari, he'll get fouled, and he'll go to the line now. And that one ties it at 107 now.
Well, you expect Michael Malone to call timeout.
All right, we'll step aside. Everyone ready to regroup for the final 23.2. Denver resets its offense. Jokic looking to set that screen for Morris. Hits it back, backdoor cut to the rim, and a foul with 6 seconds left. And that ties it at 108. This is a big free throw here for Morris. And he's been big for Denver in this second half. Ball enters into Paul. Paul defended by Craig, and he will get bumped and fouled by Millsap. And Paul misses the first. Denver does have a timeout. Second one is good to tie things at 109. The Thunder trying to push it to an extra 5 minutes. It'll be Morris to trigger the basketball in. Gets it in. Daniels, defended by Morris, floats it up, and it's off the back of the rim, and we will go to overtime in Orlando. Need a bucket and quickly. Gallinari to the rim, and he slams it home. And boy, it's game all of a sudden, Mike. It looks like everybody is in slow motion.
So a terrific win for the Denver Nuggets.
Wow.
Fourth meeting of the season between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Here from the HP Fieldhouse. LeBron James with 22 points in his last game. Chris Paul, nobody has been more clutch this year than him. This is a fun matchup, Doris.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Paul against Anthony Davis. Paul defers to Gilgeous-Alexander on the baseline. Good decision. And the Thunder still up by 5. Gilgeous-Alexander hits the 3 ball.
Well, we miss Dennis. He's obviously a big part of our team. But I think the other thing, too, is it's given some opportunities to some other guys. And some other guys have stepped up and done a nice job. And, you know, I think when guys are out, the one thing that's helped our team this season is at different points in time, we've had different guys step in. And that's been nice about this group.
Working so far in the first quarter. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Rachel.
Back to you guys.
Caruso played for Oklahoma City, played for the OKC Blue, and then was released late in the season, thought about going to Europe, had a great performance in the Las Vegas Summer League a couple of years ago and was signed to a deal. And he's been a part of this roster ever since. Chris Paul just playing at his own pace.
That's just signature Chris Paul right there.
We had little Chris watching the game virtually behind the bench a few nights ago. LeBron has missed several of those point-blank shots here tonight. And we have an injured Laker back at midcourt. Looks like Caldwell Pope.
When I talked to Frank Vogel at halftime, he wasn't as concerned as you might expect about that cement offense you guys were talking about in the first half.
Right.
Because he said, we're trying some new lineup things. We've got 3 new guys out there. I do think that he's using some of these seeding games, especially now that they've clinched #1, to figure out who they are without Avery Bradley. Now, that didn't mean that he gave the guys a pass at halftime. He said that they were fouling so much defensively that it just took them out of their rhythm.
Chris Paul in traffic. A little bit of sauce and a great finish. The master at work.
He came in tonight with 158 pull-up jump shots made, more than anybody else, and he just dances you into the mid-range.
Speaking of the Clippers, took one on the chin from Devin Booker here.
Listen, it's still a long shot that they make it, Mark, but the fact of the matter is this has been a highly competitive, great experience for a young team.
Yeah, James Jones, the general manager of the Suns, Monty Williams, Willie Green, that coaching staff building great culture. They're 3-0 here so far as Dort gets the and 1 for the Thunder. Chris Paul squares up and fires right over the top of Quinn Cook. Chris Paul running to the huddle saying, you know who I am? 5 on the shot clock for CP3. Good defense by Kuz. Diallo inside with the flush. LeBron off the Markieff screen, a little pick and pop. And Morris couldn't cash in. Had a great look at it. Robertson up to Paul. Paul with a nice in and out dribble to Adams inside and 1. Guess he's okay. Chris Paul out front. Working against Kuzma. 5 on the shot clock. Launching the 3 and hits bottom.
Under an unbelievable contest from Kuzma.
Hey, Rachel, what do you hear about some of the meal choices from the players here?
Well, the first few days when they were locked in quarantine, they were just getting packages of food that weren't specially prepared for them. So there were vegan choices, vegetarian choices, meat choices, and they just sort of got an array of things. Once they got out of quarantine, though, they have special meals prepared for each team. And many of the teams have brought their team chefs down here to Orlando.
Noel, a good shot blocker. Chris Paul. Interesting
Chris Paul on 2-point jump shots this year shooting 48%. I mean, that's an incredible percentage. It's among the league leader. Morant, 29 assists, 2 steals in the Wednesday loss to Utah, 124-115. Dort, a catch-and-shoot triple try. It's in. Outside of the Anderson three, everything for the Grizzlies has been scored in the paint. Chris Paul laces the triple. But the Grizzlies with 8 paint points. And when I talked with Grizzlies coach Taylor Jenkins before the game, nice wraparound and a finish by Noel. Chris Paul got away from Morant. Sets up Dort for 3. Made another one. Lugent's Dort. Chris Paul gets a screen from Noel. Crab dribble. And a finish by Noel. Nerlens Noel getting the start with Steven Adams out. With Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, Pete Pranica with you. 5th seeding game for the Grizzlies. Chris Paul with a miss, and that's tapped out of bounds. And which way are we going with it? Apparently Grizzlies ball. 2 free throws down by Morant. He's got 11. And the Grizzlies, their largest lead at 9. Chris Paul on a throwback. Gallinari for 3. Put it in. And now a steal by Chris Paul. His 3 is through, and back-to-back threes, and not the way the Grizzlies wanted to end the first half. After leading by 9, their margin is just 3. Chris Paul, foul line jumper, that's money for him. Grizzlies, their largest lead of the game at 74-64, and the Grizzlies, who have been one of the best second-half teams in the NBA since the calendar flipped to 2020, off to a good start. Paul with a response. And nothing went down for Oklahoma City this afternoon. Oklahoma City ends the game shooting 35%. Grizzlies win it going away 121-92.
And how nice it is to see Mike back in uniform. Well, he took a hard spill. I'll tell you one thing.
Wastes no time in getting into the scoring action. A straightaway 3, and he rips the cords. And that drive in a strip as Bonga lost it. Quick shot, and that one is off as well. Robinson, as Muscala made 1, make it 2. As he rips the cords from straight away, Mike Muscala with 2 threes in the early going.
We're getting some really good looks here. And Mike Muscala, I'll tell you, he's hotter than the month of July right now. 3 for 3 here in the first quarter.
Announcing his return. Kick out 3, in and out, no good. And how about Chris Paul? Just enough bodying up Schofield. Paisley, is he feeling it from the outside? He continues. Paisley drains one in from downtown. And it's 7 in a row for Oklahoma City here in the early second. That was an incredible steal there from Chris Paul, helping out the much smaller lineup down low. Gallinari quickly sprints up to set that screen. Now Paul matched up on Bryant behind the 3-point line, lets it go and knocks it down.
And you get the mismatch, and you get a very shaky defender on the perimeter in Thomas Bryant. You know, not making fun of him. He's not out there used to guarding CP3.
Paul, veteran, up against Brown. Now he sets it up. Nice pass, and Muscala takes dead aim at a 3 and knocks it down. Gallinari left open, has some space, and buries it from downtown. 12-point game. As Paul twirls around, fades away, and knocks it down.
There's nothing you can do with it when he's engaged like that, and he gets the mismatch, goes through the lane, stops and pops.
Paul way behind the line, doesn't have a problem still drilling that. And it's 7 in a row as Chris Paul now into double digits with 10, and now knocks it free. Playing defense, strips it away from Grant.
He is so clever. I don't know what that
carried away with a basketball a little bit.
I got to get back. He's got amazing ball handling skills. That's just the thing about it. He's just got amazing ball handling skills.
Quick turnaround tomorrow. Gallinari gets his hand in the passing lane. Forces the turnover. Dort stopped, then had to save it out of bounds back where it came from. Gallinari thought he was going to continue down that wide channel outside as Paul steps into the 3 right down the pipe.
Right now, the production from all players. Look at this. Hello. Oh, that's beautiful. You see that coming. And right now, just you got the Wizards' head on a swivel defensively.
And another wire-to-wire victory for Billy Donovan's club as the Thunder defeat Washington 121-103.
Off we go from Orlando. This guy's on the floor, and that means they are always a threat. Chris Paul.
Yeah, and obviously he wants to play, and that just shows you really the concentrated effort of Chris Paul this year, where he still wants to be on the floor, and he is first in line to probably have demanded a rest.
Bridges forces a tough contested three. Looks like it's just inside the stripe. In some ways, it's kind of set up as a trap game when you look on the floor and you're not seeing the likes of a Steven Adams or an SGA. As Muscala knocking down another three-point shot. Here's Chris Paul, who played such an instrumental role in creating this bubble environment with Adam Silver and Michelle Roberts as he knocks down another. This one will be the long three over the top of Cam Johnson. Happy to launch the three, and boy, they have found the three-point shooting rhythm. Chris Paul fouled on the three-point attempt by Sharch.
Chris Paul, when he shoots, because he doesn't jump high.
Paul with the steal. Baisley off the lob.
Yeah, you got to be careful around Chris Paul. He's arguably the best point guard defensively in the league.
Chris Paul with another steal, and that was the part of the big problem in that opening quarter is Paul lobs it up top for Diallo, but you've got Chris Paul, you've got Danilo Gallinari, who has proven to hit big shots in the clutch, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander also in his very brief career showing to have some clutch genes. First tie of the afternoon. Paul drifting back. Can't get the jumper, but he'll go to the line to shoot a pair.
A good chase down defense there.
Inbound to Robertson.
Hey, where did he come from? This is a guy that you would leave him in a gym by himself, give him a ladder, flashlight, and tie the ball to the rim, and he still couldn't make it. DeAndre just needs to stay down. Give him the jumper.
Paul tried to bait him into a foul in the first half.
They fouled him out.
But as a young player, Melvin putting Devin through rigorous workouts.
And the Thunder reset their offense. CP3, the lethal crossover and the mid-range jumper for his first score of the game. The 15th-year pro scoring 18 points per game in his first year with the Thunder, and he's one of the game's great setup men. Chris Paul, and that's Nader again. That's good. Abdel Nader, third-year man out of Iowa State, averaging 6 points per game. Lead is down to 10, and here they come again. Darius Bazley, he's out of Boston, Massachusetts. Did not attend college. Nader from Paul. Well, Paul threw a fastball, and Nader with 8 points off the bench. It's 10 unanswered for the Thunder. They're missing Dennis Schroeder, their sixth man, back in the bubble under self-quarantine after leaving for the birth of his second child. Could be back for Friday's game, will be back for sure for the playoffs. And Chris Paul, John, this is a guy that is playoff tested over his long career. He's played 102 NBA playoff games. Chris Paul hits the floater. Oh, he's so good at making those teardrop runners. Paul with 8 first-half points, 10 first-half points now. When ball went out of bounds, Chris Paul last touch it. By the way, there's a minute left in the Toronto-Philadelphia game. The 76ers have a 1-point lead. It doesn't really matter for either club, but the newsworthy item of that game, Joel Embiid, who missed the last couple of games with an ankle injury, hurt his right wrist in this game, only played 13 minutes. X-rays were negative. Oh, Chris Paul getting a little feisty. Turned it into dodgeball, threw it off the body of Duncan Robinson.
Well, we've seen different teams. They're putting smaller players on Duncan. He's reaching, grabbing, trying to combat Duncan's ability to shoot with quickness, moving with him, and Chris Paul able to come up with it.
Gilgeous-Alexander tripling from the hip. Paul having some sort of hand problem. He keeps reaching for that hand. Meanwhile, Gilgeous-Alexander has 18 points on 6 of 8 shooting, and that's an offensive foul on Butler. I think he just paid Chris Paul back for treating Robinson rudely. Just plowed right over the president of the NBA Players Association.
I don't disagree with you there. Chris Paul's feeling that one. He's like a fullback going through the offensive line right there.
So while the Heat have come up with a whole new starting group, the Thunder back to their original starting 5 tonight as Steven Adams connects. Adams, 6 points after missing the last 3 games with a leg injury. Miami 3-0 this year against Indiana. Chris Paul buries the corner jump shot. 12 points for Paul in this game for the Thunder. And that one is good. That was Hamidou Diallo from Queens, New York.
Rockets, a team that has set an NBA record for made threes and attempted threes each of the last 3 years. And they have picked up where they left off. Adams able to bank it down and a foul, so a chance at 3 here for big Steven Adams. So we know Harden is going to try to score a lot more to make up some of that scoring slack, but can they get the contributions up and down that roster as they continue stand to struggle from the outside? House from the corner. Paul inside, contact, doesn't get the bounce, but he'll step to the free throw line. Paul the drive and kick, setting the table for Diallo. And finally able to find the bottom of the cup. Here comes Paul inside. And they will count the basket, so that is a goaltend. It's on House. Paul steps into a 3. That's good. Only his second field goal. That's his first 3 of this opening half. 16-point Houston lead as we come up on the final 2 minutes before halftime. Schroeder to the rack. And just like that, 14-point game. Harden. 3 to shoot. Lets her rip. A little bit too much. Covington trying to tap it. It's Paul. Here he comes down the paint, taking flight, and here comes Oklahoma City. 9 straight points. Here's P.J. Tucker, corner 3, and the rebound pulled weak side by Danilo Gallinari. So Stan, here we go. How does Billy Donovan get his team back into this one? Is Adams, boy, that'll help. Potential 3-point play.
Guys, you have to remember, though, OKC, the best comeback team in the league with 17 comeback wins. So watching the guys walk onto the floor, they still look confident. No head hanging for OKC here.
Since the Rockets have gone small, they're the worst rebounding team in the league, and they need to take advantage.
That's a corner 3 by Covington.
But again, lack of discipline. That's all set up because you got up on Gordon's shot fake, which allowed him to drive. You had to come and help, and you set up the 3.
Gallinari, that little patented step back jumper, and suddenly Oklahoma City's offense back in gear. Third 3 of the night for Harden, 21 points. And now can CP3 get his game going? Only his 4th basket of the night. Here's Ferguson. That's a triple. And Stan, you know, a lot of people don't realize from the end of November till the end of the season, the end of the seeding games, Oklahoma City had the best record in the Western Conference, 38-17. As McLemore misses the 3, but kind of up and down in their seeding games. They split the 8 games that they played. Of course, Dennis Schroeder was gone, paternity leave after his wife gave birth to their 2nd child. And so there was not the continuity that they'd had as Baisley hits the 3, and they're still trying to kind of refine their game. Daniel House. A little bit short as Houston Stan has cooled off a little bit from 3. But their lead still at 17 points. Gallo on a deep 3. That's good. That's a long 3 by Harden. And you know, Stan, it just shows you how crazy the NBA playoffs are. You know, you think no Russell Westbrook, advantage Thunder. And then you look up and you see this score as Paul hits a rare 3 on a night that he has really struggled. Only his 2nd 3 tonight. Gordon turned aside. Here comes Paul, open floor. And now they'll reset. That's another 3 from Paul. Trying to give him a little shot in the arm here. Still plenty of time.
Paul, who attended Wake Forest, is the only family member who didn't go to an HBCU, which is why they're so special to him. Plus, he's been active at North Carolina A&T, setting up internships and creating a course in the business of sports media and entertainment. Paul is all about the action, progress, all the time. Spiro and Stan.
Another game 2 from the Advent Health Arena, part of the ESPN Wild World of Sports. James Harden and the Rockets so impressive in their Game 1 victory. So the question is, what do Chris Paul and the Thunder do to try and even up these series? at 1 game apiece. Gordon, nice little fake, drives inside, stripped by Chris Paul and stolen. It has to be such a strange dynamic during a playoff series to be in the same hotel and crossing paths with guys all the time. Mark, right?
Absolutely. I saw it, just the other day after Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell had a battle as Chris Paul knocks down the shot. They get back to the hotel and they see each other by the pool.
Chris Paul floats it inside. Good defense inside. Paul again on the follow and banks that one home. Diallo missed the initial one, but then Chris Paul right there for his second field goal.
Bazley's one of the most improved players from the regular season to the bubble. His passing has improved, his three-point shooting has improved, and his defensive decision-making has gotten better as well.
Schroeder knocks down to 3. He's had some huge games, had 3 straight 20-point games in the bubble. Bazley, cash me out.
There you go. Nice.
Chris Paul, three-pointer, in and out. Fight for the rebound. Adams using his good hands. Paul's going to get another look, takes a bounce, fires, and hits.
And Oklahoma City needs shooting like Bazley. They have a lot of wing guys that don't shoot it particularly well. They need a wing guy with legit size to shoot it and stretch the floor.
Chris Paul dead on from 3. His second three-pointer. He's in double figures now, and it's a 6-point lead.
James Harden is distributing effectively, but how much more aggressive do you want him to be in the fourth?
He knows the game better than I do, so he'll do what he needs to do.
Thanks, Coach.
Right.
Mike?
All right. He has his trust in James Harden. No question about that. Tony in his 4th year as head coach of the Rockets. Meanwhile, OKC now ups it to 3. Gilgeous-Alexander kicks it out. They go up top to Paul. Passes on the 3. Drives inside. Banks it home. 14 points for Chris Paul. Harden, the shot clock winding down. He's going to have to put it up. Steps back and drills it. Schroeder tried to draw a charge.
But I know Mark will like this. Struggling from the three-point line. Put him in a different position. Put him closer to the basket on his initial catch. And even though it's a mid-range jumper, it's a make.
Gilgeous-Alexander able to connect. He's got 27 points. Nice bounce-back game for him, scoring-wise. Harden, step-back 3. Bang! James Harden from downtown. And that makes it 12 again with 2.5 remaining. 9 of his 19 here in the 4th. Gallinari, another difficult shot. Gilgeous-Alexander draws the foul on House. With 1:43 remaining. Chance to cut it to 8. OKC desperately needing stops here. Eric Gordon kicks it out. Tucker, corner 3. That's good. PJ Tucker from downtown. It's back up to 11. Gordon, count it, and the foul. Gordon now at 15, but as Jeff mentioned, just 6 of 20 from the field. The Rockets just 7 turnovers. Another important part for them. They only had 7 turnovers in game 1. And now Harden will dribble it out. The Houston Rockets, led by their defense, take a 2-0 lead in this best-of-7 series. James Harden just 2 of 11 from 3, 5 of 16 from the field. But this Rockets playing like a deep team right now.
Meanwhile, for the Thunder, Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luguentz Dort, after missing game 1, played well in game 2 defensively. Gallinari and Steven Adams got off to a very quick start in game 2. Rivers with a blazing quick first step, but he couldn't finish. Austin Rivers grew up playing basketball as a teenager right here on these courts, playing AAU basketball for each one teach one, and Chris Paul teaching him with that jump shot. We talk about Houston's size or lack thereof, Doris, but there are some burly guys on that floor, like Gordon and Tucker in particular. That deep bomb good by Schroeder.
You were doing pretty well early on, and then late they were able to go on a little run.
They're a good team. They're going to score some points.
What do you want to see change?
Nothing. We just have to do a little bit better what we're doing.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Like, Mike has a great ability to make you believe in whatever skill you've got. I think that's critical.
Bazley hits the 3 from the wing. Rookie checking into the ball game, narrowing the lead to 6. Austin Rivers with a lightning quick crossover. Talked about the fact that he grew up some 20 miles from here in Winter Park, Florida. Grew up playing on the EYBL circuit And here at the AAU Nationals for each one teach one, the AAU team, and Chris Paul looking like a ball handling pull-up drill there. Harden has a mismatch against Adams. Little Euro step. Wow, James Harden with a quick change of direction. Chris Paul, nice in and out dribble, pull up and one.
That's who they would like to target. Frustration by PJ Tucker. Easy touch pass from James.
As much as we see him make those brilliant passes, sometimes you get the feeling his passes and assists are still overlooked as Gallinari makes it a 2-point game with another 3-ball from him. Eric Gordon just missing the layup. Thunder can get it down to 2. Chris Paul steaming downhill, gets the layup. What a blow by the 35-year-old veteran. That's going to be the 3rd foul on Tucker. Chris Paul hits the 3 right over the top of Robert Covington. And Chris Paul now with 14 points on 6 of 9. Chris Paul against McLemore. Boy, Chris Paul, was that a drill? I mean, he just lulled his defender, McLemore, to sleep. Chris Paul with the mid-range, got to his spot and made it count. Schroeder gets it back, stares down Harden, fires, got it. And it's a 2-point game with 1:15 to go. Doris, what do you make of what Mike D'Antoni's doing with having Jeff Green bring the ball up?
Well, I like it there because he was going to get, he thought he got a shot for James Harden.
And Tucker hits the side pocket 3 finally. He couldn't buy one before that. That was his first 3 on 4 attempts. Chris Paul to the basket.
That's too easy if you're Houston. You can see how frustrated Mike D'Antoni is. Like, you've got to play better defense than that.
Chris Paul inside again. Adams gets this one to fall, and they get another easy one, Doris. It's a 1-point game. Down by 2, Gallinari against Tucker. Dort sets a screen on Jeff Green for Paul. Harden switches on to him. Paul gets to the bucket for the lead. Gilgeous-Alexander got it! The Thunder lead by 1 with 13.8 to go. Here's Chris Paul working against Jeff Green. Gets a screen from Dort, rejects it. A double screen. Paul gets around Harden, reverse layup. Oh! It rims out at the buzzer. He got all the way to the cup, and it wouldn't go down. Schroeder, the preferred matchup offensively. Green has been great defensively. Shot clock down to 6 for Chris Paul. The 3 coming and falling.
Hey, Mark, I have an update for you on Steven Adams. I'm told he has a right knee contusion, and he is doubtful to return for the last 2 minutes and 15 seconds of this game.
Wow. Chris Paul! Butter! Chris Paul!
Did he just blow a kiss at the camera?
He did. James Harden finishing with 38.7 rebounds and 8 assists in a losing cause, fouling out for the first time this season. And Chris Paul finishes with 26 points and 5 assists. He said coming into this game, I have to show up. Well, he did in a big way.
On the NBA campus in Orlando, it's the second week of playoff examination. Who will pass the test and move on to the second round? It's momentum time for several teams today. The first round of the NBA playoffs on TNT brought to you by Rocket Mortgage, and a critical game for the Rockets taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, the legend of Lou Dort is building as Chris Paul. Beautiful mid-range.
Speaking of legend,
man. Chris Paul probing. And Schroeder the open 3. Perfect.
But I'm sorry, early in this game on both sides of the equation.
The beard got picked. Ferguson took it from him. And Chris Paul flipping it up and in.
Crafty. Beautiful use of using Steven Adams to buffer the defender to get around.
PJ Tucker. He didn't settle for the corner 3, but denied at the iron. Chris Paul, Lou Dort, Danilo Gallinari, Gilgeous-Alexander, and Steven Adams. Now, Chris Paul only had 4 in the first half. Chris Paul down the lane. Oh, man. The bucket and the body and an opportunity for the three-point play. Make that, as we update that graphic, plus 30 from the three-point line tonight for the Rockets.
7 of 7. And Chris Paul finally ends the skid. That was an 11-0 run. Covington inside. That draw and kick. 8 for 8 are the Rockets from 3. Remember, they only shot 34% as a team during the year. They make up for it in volume. And Chris Paul answers right back. Shot clock at 5, and this is where he can dance on the perimeter. His 3. And finally a miss from distance by Houston.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Harden to kind of back Dort down. Even though he's the younger player, he may be the stronger player, especially his lower body. And speaking of lower body, Chris Paul gets his legs right there in that rhythm jump shot. Little run here to end the third, kind of what we saw with them, the Thunder right before halftime.
And that's when Harden was sitting. And Noel batting that back out. Chris Paul flipping it up and in. The field goal and the foul. Harden, step back 3 is flat. Chris Paul with the rebound. 3 seconds to work with. At 1, Schroeder to end the quarter. Good! It's a 21-7 run to close the quarter. And so the Rockets, an incredible beginning to the half from three-point land. And Harden, to your point, getting to the rim.
Well, get to the, I mean, again, it's not the 3, but you're up 1 now. Because you got an easy, well, I'm going to say it's easy, but you were able to get a 2 inside. But then, conversely, on the opposite end of the court, you allow Schroeder to get baseline unimpeded to give the Thunder a 1-point lead.
Harden with Lou Dort, who's been tasked with guarding him all. Harden with Lou Dort, who's been tasked with guarding him all night. And Harden right to the rim, and Houston's got the lead again.
Well, Alexander was there.
Chris Paul gets around Harden all the way to the rim. We mentioned 150 clutch points, the most in the league for anyone. And CP3 puts the Thunder back up. Green down the lane, flipping it up in response. Back and forth we go with 100 seconds to finish this one off. Chris Paul, mid-range jumper. Dennis Schroeder now going to use a little clock. Going to work on Jeff Green. Schroeder spinning, driving, flipping. Good! The little man gets around Green. Harden hitting a 3. And this one not done. So how about OKC? They even things at 2 apiece. That 3 thrown in at the end will actually go to replay to make sure it counts.
It's kind of a throwback, that 2-point shot. Quickly becoming a thing of extinction in the NBA, especially with Houston. That's a 3 from Paul.
Oklahoma City's 4 leading scorers, the 3 guards and Gallinari, have 6 points and only 10 shots, and Lou Dort has 9 shots. That's not going to work for Oklahoma City. They've got to figure out a way to get those other guys involved.
Here's Bazley on a 3. That's good. Boy, how desperately did OKC need that shot. Only their second 3-pointer of this opening half. 8 on the timer. Paul shoots over Covington and sticks it. Only his second field goal of the half. And it's a 1-point game. A lot on the shoulders of that man. CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard, of course, likely done for the rest of the series. Had to leave the campus to have that right knee examined. And we will be watching later tonight on TNT. Here is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And Stan, you just said it during the break. This Thunder lineup right here, best statistical lineup in the NBA this season.
Rebecca Harlow back in Orlando, where yesterday Mike D'Antoni was sporting a pretty awesome t-shirt that says "Scan me, register to vote." But here's the thing, guys, it works. So grab your phones at home, open your camera. If you scan that picture, immediately you'll see a link to voter registration. So if you haven't done it yet, you can thank Coach for it. This, though, part of a larger initiative.
Here's Dort in the corner, up to the rim. And that's what Billy Donovan wants to see, not settling for those threes, in which he has really struggled tonight. And we started to touch on Mike D'Antoni earlier, Stan, and it sounds crazy to say, but he probably still doesn't get the respect he deserves from fans around the country. You look at his coaching credentials, had this Houston team 1 win away from the NBA Finals a couple of years ago. We know about his contract as Paul squares up and hits. Broke off extension talks with the team earlier this year, kind of leading to speculation about his future. Westbrook missing 8 of the last 9, 4 of the 5 seeding games with that right quad strain. His house misses a 3. Rockets haven't needed much from Westbrook so far. He's played 18 minutes and has scored 5 points. Paul left open.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how a young guy like Lou Dort responds in Game 6. You know, when you're going to be in a matchup against James Harden, it's going to be difficult, and sometimes he's going to get the best of you and you're going to have a rough night.
Gordon misfires on his first try. They'd love to get Gordon going. His shooting has been an issue here for Houston.
Well, that's why Coach Mike D'Antoni made the first play for him, trying to get in. And how about Lou Dort? He's making sure, saying, listen, I know I was 0 for 9, but that was the other day. Let's get the game going now. That's a great report, Jared. It gives us context, because if you really look at Chris Paul's career, it's been polarizing. At times people said he's the best guard, small guard ever. At times people said he's injured all the time. And sometimes you just have to keep going and people will figure it out later. And I think most fans have figured out this is who he's been his whole time in the career, his commitment to excellence. This OKC team would not be that good without that second coach on the floor named Chris Paul.
Rockets shoot a ton of free throws all year. Chris Paul buries a little bit of range. 0 for 3 from three-point range for James Harden. Paul all the way in. The seas parted for Chris Paul. Timeout. Paul with Gordon on him sticks a little bit range. Not many better than Chris Paul in that area. Gilgeous-Alexander trying to shake Covington. Cannot. Paul, good catch. Looking for help. That was tipped by Covington, but Gallinari with a shot flake, and he hits another one. Gallinari, his 4th 3. Paul, strong. Paul, wow, what a finish there. Almost lost the handles, nearly stripped away, but had the grip on it. Houston stretched their lead to 9, and an answer by the Thunder, and now Paul is fouled by House. It's impressive how quick Paul and Schroeder close that gap, close the door. Now Paul inside, and Chris Paul takes it to the rack. Now Russell Westbrook gives it up. House for 3. Oklahoma City by 3 in the ball. Fancy dribbling there by Paul. Shoots up and over Green, and he's got it. Boy, you just knew it. He had all that rhythm.
Oh, when he gets into that patty cake mode, you can't do anything. He has so many moves, the hands up, the in and out, and most importantly, he can knock down the jumper.
Again, Paul working on Green. Oh, Chris Paul taking Jeff Green one-on-one the last 2 possessions and drops a couple of mid-range jumpers on him. Here goes Paisley on the drive. Kicks it to Paul. Wide open for 3. That one's good. Chris Paul. Step back for Harden. 3-point hit for James Harden. That's a big one.
OKC's going to have to get a couple of easy ones right now. Houston locked in on their pick-and-roll defense. Everyone getting to the paint.
Paul for 3. Oh, a big shot for Chris Paul. Paul's had a big half as well. Played a ton of minutes. Now another 3-pointer is up. Oh, Chris Paul. What a big shot for Chris Paul again. Another made 3 for Paul. Back in the hands of Westbrook. Paul is on him. And he knocks it out of his hands. A steal by Paul. Turnover Westbrook. Paul gives it up. Gilgeous-Alexander gives it up. Adams.
What defense by Houston.
Closed him down, didn't they?
For Houston to get back with the big 7-footer and get this on the other end, that shows you why Houston is a whole new different team. They never had 5 guys get back and converge like that before, and that started with Harden and Gordon getting back in the play.
Here's Schroeder, breaks free and scores the layup. Tied at 100 as we go under a minute now. 9 seconds separating shot clock and game clock.
Chris Paul wants Covington on him. He wants the larger one. That's why he just asked Schroeder to come on and give the pick and roll for the switch.
And Paul gets right by him. It's going to be a foul. As Paul broke by Covington, he's called for the foul. Paul calmly knocks them both down. Oklahoma City by 2. The Rockets with the shot clock off. And a turnover as Russell Westbrook, another giveaway. Wow. Harden puts up a heave, can't get it to go, and The buzzer sounds, and Oklahoma City survives for a Game 7.
The winner of this will take on the Los Angeles Lakers on Friday night, and we are underway. Up and down they go. Gilgeous-Alexander, the extra pass, and Lou Dort hit a couple of those in the last game. Not this time. Adams with the offensive board. That's what he really does well for OKC. One of the top offensive rebounders in the league. Dort going to try another one. This one falls. Markey showed a little bit of confidence shooting it again. This is a matchup that Chris Paul likes. They've been hunting switches for him on Covington. And that's why he likes it so much, Mark. Covington caught in the cross switch, and Chris Paul found the mismatch underneath. Steven Adams, Mark, a nice factor early for the OKC team. Mike D'Antoni tell us in our meetings that they'd have to win it partially with their defense here tonight at some point. Baisley off the CP3 dime, and Baisley knocks it down confidently. Baisley productive with 3 points in just 3 minutes so far. Chris Paul against Tucker. A couple of guys used to going head-to-head. They grew up within miles of each other. Chris Paul in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and P.J. Tucker calls Raleigh home. Winner of this one takes on the Lakers Friday night on ESPN. Dort, that's his second three ball that he connected on here in the first half. Dort made his last three. At what point, Mark, do you adjust your defensive scheme to maybe close out on him a little harder now? You don't. You don't? You don't. Cassidy has more. Cass?
Yeah, Mark, this is all part of what Billy Donovan and Chris Paul have been telling Lou Dort. They said, if they back off you, you need to shoot it. You need to build that confidence because he means so much to our team. Chris Paul saying game after game, I am going to ride with Lou Dort till the wheels fall off.
And it's working so far, Cassidy. Gallinari finally connecting on a three-pointer. He's got 5 on a couple of deep attempts. Oklahoma City leading by 3 in this high-scoring first half. Chris Paul slaloms through the traffic. Gilgeous-Alexander had all day to line it up and knocks down the 3. He's got 12 points of the game and made both of his threes. 1-point contest. As Dort hits the outside jump shot. Harden beginning the quarter as they usually do on the bench.
But I like what Mike D'Antoni said to Cassidy at the end. He will. I'm going to trust greatness. He's struggling. I'm going to be honest, but I'm going to trust greatness.
Been able to turn it on most times when he wants. Chris Paul with a circus shot. Look at that sauce. Wow. Gordon on the drive. Over Steven Adams off glass. Westbrook trying to get downhill against Dort. Great crossover. Russell Westbrook yells out, he can't guard me. Westbrook has been very prolific tonight and very efficient. 9 of 14. Dort inside, took the contact, and will go to the free throw line. Dort makes 2 free throws and now has a career high 25 points. Westbrook in a rhythm and tipped up and in by House over Gallinari. Chris Paul on the drive-by. Inside, Dort off the nice dime by Chris Paul. Green firing from deep. That one was short. Dort gets the loose ball to Chris Paul. Covington getting up slowly. It's a 5-on-4. Paul from deep. Got it! Houston's blueprint. Houston's culture. Small ball. Shooting threes. Analytics. All those things on the line. And they turn it over. Schroeder in transition. Over Westbrook for the finish. And we're tied at 91.
Chris Paul wants to pick and roll to get Covington on him. Good job by Eric Gordon fighting over the screen.
Little in and out dribble. 3 on the way. CP3 right here, folks, right now, in the present. On the floater. Bounced a couple of times and went in. So Harden gets the field goal. He's up to 15 for the game. Just his 3rd field goal of the contest. Covington left open, and they make him pay for it. Adams got there late, a little miscommunication, and Houston back up by a bucket. Paul, little hezzy, floater in the paint, strong, but he draws the foul. Man, Chris Paul, Mark Jackson deep in his bag like the fries are at the bottom, man. He's pulling it all out here tonight in Game 7. Back to Covington, it's been his night for 3, and he hits another one. Gordon fires the 3, tipped up, and a loose ball rebound by Dennis Schroeder. They've got numbers because Covington is trailing the play. Dort open. Lou Dort ties the game at 99. Lou Dort out here careering tonight. Harden working against Dort. Got into the paint and finished. James Harden took a hit in the face on the way back, but he's put his team up by 2. Schroeder on the attack. That one blocked by James Harden. Westbrook cross court, Tucker's favorite spot, but not this time. Covington inside, he misses, and Paul clears and rushes out of the pack. They've got 5 on 4 because Covington is trailing. Wide open bucket, Gilgeous-Alexander. And the Thunder with a 1-point lead. Harden is 4 for 15, but he got a good switch here as Gilgeous-Alexander picked him up. Out to Tucker, missed the last one, drives it in this time, and knocks down the floater. Houston back up by 1. Shot clock at 5. Gilgeous-Alexander with nowhere to go. Schroeder got it off in time and left it short. Adams got on the deck, but Gordon comes up with it. Houston with the ball and under a minute to go. Paul tried to take the charge. Adams picked Gordon clean and got the ball. Chris Paul. Harden falls. Bodies all over. Paul left it short, and Covington clears. Wow. Timeout, Houston Rockets. What a frenetic, frantic sequence. Westbrook has had a good second half. Inside, missing. Adams with the rebound. Houston got its hands on it. Dort for 3, blocked by Harden. Dort got it back, tried to throw it off Harden, and missed him. It's Rockets basketball with .5 to go. James Harden, don't ever talk about his defense again. What a play.
And Chris Paul is trying to sell to the referees that he called a timeout, but this is an outstanding job by James Harden. That's a winning play. That's a winning play by James Harden, not on the offensive end, but on the defensive end. And then the awareness to not allow Lou Dort to throw the ball off.
Going on the floor is out of bounds. Houston ball.
Good denied defense. Westbrook gets it in to Covington, who's fouled immediately with .4 to go. Robert Covington, a 80% free throw shooter. Oh boy, the basketball god's on his side with the fortuitous bounce. And Gallinari gets the board, so they only need a 2. They'll advance after the timeout and 1.2 to work with. And they get it blown up. The Houston Rockets blow it up, deflect it away. They tried to get it to Adams, and ball game over.